Hello, this is Greg Prado, author of the books Take It Off, Kiss Truly Unmasked, as well as the Eric Carr story, amongst many others. You're listening to the Shout It Out Loudcast with Tom and Zeus. Rock and roll!
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Shout It Out Loudcast. Don't turn your radio dial. You're in the right place because the album review crew is back with episode 18. We are calling this one, We Are Love Hungry Men on the Way to the Promised Land, even though we're known to be a touch too much when we meet girls who have rhythm. Tommy, Zeus, how are you?
How did you not get beating around the bush into your intro there? That was like...
You can't do every lyric.
All right. Sonny, what's up? Zeus, what's up? We're back at it. Oh, man, I'm fired up for this one. This is going to be good.
Yeah. Once in a while, we hit these, like, kind of, like, out on the beaten path, like, unknown albums, unknown bands, but we like them, so we decided to talk about them. And we came up with ACDC, something like that.
This new Australian band.
Yeah. Parkway to Hell, something like that. Yeah. Let's give it a try and we'll see what we think.
Yeah, new release. Should be pretty good.
This could be rough.
How could this be rough? Only Sonny Pooney can friggin' come in with negativity for Highway to Hell. Oh God.
This is going to be rough if I hear any negativity about this album. Go ahead.
If you have negativity towards Highway to Hell, it's because you are seeking it out. You're manufacturing it. But that's okay. That's what this is for. And let's be clear for everybody that might not be aware, this is the group pick. The group picks, as with they trend, Appetite for Destruction, Pyromania, Blizzard of Oz. These are all big albums. So... and Highway to Hell is about as big as it gets. So,
and I know you guys try to keep like kind of the Kiss episodes and the bonus episodes a little bit separated because it's two different animals. Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, things cross-reference.
Oh yeah.
So Jericho was on a couple of weeks ago. By the time this is out, it'll be a couple of weeks, won't it?
1 or 2 weeks, perhaps. But go ahead.
Jericho was on a little while ago, and he had some things to say, and I wanted to make sure that I respond. So I've got a few things. One,
God.
Yes, Jericho did put an invite out there. I had to choose between my beautiful wife and Jericho.
Come on. How long did it take you to make that decision?
Less than 3.5 milliseconds.
Okay. All right.
I didn't think about it twice. Okay. 2, we travel in packs, and what I mean by we,
and we do it in the back.
That's right.
That's all you do when you do it, doggy style. Doggy style.
It won't be just me and Danny.
Tom knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, Sonny, I had to cut it. You set that one up on a tee.
That was a layup. But go ahead.
So I was going to say we travel in packs, but I don't want.
And we do it from the back.
So on the Kiss Cruise, it just won't be me and Danny as representing the Poonies. There'll be Jackie, Sally, Betty, Shawnee, Gilly, Harley, Kaylee, Leslie, Nancy, Riley, Sherry, Vinny, Wiley, Georgie, Anthony, Maddie, Mikey, Kylie, Marley, Sammy, Shelly, Shirley, and Marty, just to let you know. And we look forward to having chocolate chip pancakes and ice cream with you on the Kiss Cruise in the morning.
Wow.
Okay?
He'll love that. He'll love that.
And then the last thing I have for Jericho. He said that, Danny and I, that he would kind of get us drunk on some tequila and maybe we're not around no more. All I have to say to that is, you cheap ass tequila. What is a bottom shelf fucking tequila? Like, I don't need 50-year-old Glenfiddich, but it's got to at least be like Blue Label Johnny Walker. You're not going to like goad me into disappearance with goddamn Jose Cuervo.
I think his goal is to just get you under the weather enough where he can just easily tip you over the edge of that cruise ship. He doesn't care what you go in, what you're drinking.
He's going to fucking load you up on some Grey Goose and give you a Judas effect. When no one's looking, just elbow you straight off the cruise and be like, hey, what happened to Poonie? I don't know.
Oh,
Love Jericho. He's the man.
and we're all going to be hanging out on the cruise. Hopefully,
That's going to be a ton of fun.
We'll see what happens. That could be. Oh boy, yikes! I mean, I haven't done a will yet. Zeus, I know you're an attorney. Maybe you can recommend me, because before I get on that ship, I need to make sure my affairs are in order in case my wife and son never see me again after that thing. We'll talk about that.
It's gonna be pretty chaotic with the four of us there. Our friend Steve will be there from Potter Than Hell. And then obviously the bands. We just did Rat, segue.
Yep.
Fozzy will be there. Your shitty band Queensryche will be there.
Yes.
Who else will be there? Bruce and his group. Bruce Kulick and his group.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Kiss will be performing too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kiss. The band called Kiss will be there too, but whatever. Actually, won't Black and Blue be there?
Well, one fourth of them.
And I'm asking that because I thought I remembered somebody talking about
how
that's
matter.
No, but my point in asking that is, how is that going to work if Tommy Thayer is in Kiss in Black and Blue? Because I swear to God, Black and Blue is on the cruise. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't give a shit.
You do realize Tommy hasn't been in Black and Blue in 20 years.
Of course. No, I know that.
Well, they're not rumbling.
Listen, Tommy, you're in Kiss, not Black and Blue.
Tommy, if there's time permitting, put my luggage in the back, get to my dog, pick up after him, and then if you have time, go join Black and Blue, the band I discovered.
Exactly.
And now they're performing on the Kiss Crude, performing on stage 12 and bartending duties in the lower decks.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
You ready to do this? What did we do last month?
So last month we did Rat Detonator. That was Zeus's pick. And boy, oh boy, did people love Detonator. Wow. Good for Zeus. He got a lot of love for that one. He didn't get a lot of love from us, but he got a lot of love from the listeners.
My co-hosts weren't big fans. Tom was kind of in the middle.
I was in the middle on it. Yeah. Sonny, not really.
Jabs at it constantly.
I'll tell you right now, though, for our poll, so every episode we do, best song, it wasn't even close. Absolutely shattered the amount of votes for a bonus poll. I could not believe it. Not even close how many votes we got on the Rat poll.
Maybe because it was in the middle of our Kiss Madness tournament, Tom?
I think that, or because so-and-so got involved too.
Exactly. So we'll talk about that. So the options for the song were Top Secret, Shame, 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 Lovin' You's a Dirty Job, and Giving Yourself Away. Lovin' You's a Dirty Job and Giving Yourself Away were battling it out for a while. And then at the end, Lovin' You's a Dirty Job came out on top 40%. Giving Yourself Away 33%, Shame, Shame, Shame 24%, and then Top Secret came in there with 3%. Ton of votes. But it was exciting for us because we had a lot of comments from people as usual saying how much they love the album, they love the pick, they love the songs. But then Stephen Piercy himself jumps in on the poll and says, I think I'm going to add Giving Yourself Away into the set.
Why? I have one question, Stephen. Why?
Oh, no. So then it gets even better, because then Zeus decides to jump in there
and throw you guys on the bus.
Oh, it was terrific. I loved it.
Especially Poonie, right?
I'm good with it because I got both middle fingers in the air as the person's driving the bus. I don't care.
Oh, come on, man.
I stick to what I said.
Yeah, it was wrong then, and it's wrong now.
No, I agree with you on that too. Yeah, it's not a good song.
So you're both.
We're both wrong. That's fine. We're both wrong. But yeah, so then Stephen Piercy jumped in again because Zeus threw me and Sonny under the bus. And that.
What did I say? Be fair.
Yeah.
I love you, Stephen, but my two co-hosts fucking hate you. That's what I.
Pretty much that was it.
I think I put in there, I love this song. This song is great. Can't believe my two co-hosts didn't like this, especially Sonny Pooney, who said this is the worst song
ever
of the 17 previous albums we reviewed.
Yeah,
and of over like 200 songs.
Yeah, and that could be hard to find a worse one, to be honest with you.
Look, I'm on Zeus's side here. It's not the worst.
That's just seriously you being Sonny and being a troll. Like, I know Zeus likes this song. Yeah, it's the worst fucking song.
Oh, something might surprise you later today.
Hold on, because
that was ridiculous.
Hold on, because then Stephen Piercy responded to Zeus's tweet, and he said, the song was written by me, Desmond Child, and Diane Warren, Giving Yourself Away. It was a huge step in our music. We had really never written a ballad. We got close, and then he referenced Closer to My Heart, written by Robin Crosby himself. He said, Giving Yourself Away was a special song. So
here's
Stephen Piercy, passionate about that song.
Should be. It's a good song.
Here's what I heard in that comment.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't completely my fault. I had other people helping me. That shit show was not all me.
Or he's saying, I got 2 Grammy Award-winning #1 hit songwriters on this with me to write this. I'll stand by what I'm saying. What fucking song have you written? Oh, and fucking the co-writes on Tuff's 4th single doesn't count.
Hey, Tuff's 4th single, that sold 3 copies. Don't shit on that song.
And it wouldn't be dead last on my list.
And Righty bought Righty bought all 3 copies of Tuff's 4th single.
I love their work.
Yeah, what are you talking about? They're fantastic. Their acoustic sets are amazing on the Monsters of Rock cruise. It's fantastic.
I got their bootleg box set live in Casino Hall basement at Stony Hill College, circa '98.
Tuff rocks Honduras.
Tuff rocks the Monster of Rock cruise at 12:42 in the bottom fucking cabana.
Oh, see, this is going to be bad.
Poor Tuff.
Sonny just said poor Tuff.
They're the shit band. We didn't pick Poison this time. Or who's our other go-to that boy gets all the shit? Ron Keel.
the cowboy rocker?
The metal cowboy, Tom. Get it right.
That's it. The metal cowboy. Whatever. Oh, all right. So let's get back to the poll. So we had a lot of comments. I'll tell you right now, I was absolutely blown away. And it was one of those things where I'm like, wow, maybe are Sonny and me, are we off on this?
Yes.
Dude, I know. So many people really love Giving Yourself Away. And they voted for that. I'm like, how? I don't get it. We got one I liked.
Did you already mention the rankings?
Yeah, 40% went to Love and Use a Dirty Job, and then Giving Yourself Away came second at 33.
What were the other 2?
It was Shame, Shame, Shame at 24, Top Secret at 3. Oh, so Top Secret's way better than 3%, but it wasn't really going to compete against those other ones. But we did have somebody here. Our buddy Kevin's on Fire. Stickman said, I like all these songs, but Top Secret is so badass. I cannot believe it's taken such a beating. That's a good song. I like that. A lot of people loving Shame. I think our buddy Jericho said Shame, Shame, Shame was his pick for that Up Detonator.
He said that to us. Yep.
So another comment here from Canadian Cartoonist saying, I cannot believe how poorly Top Secret is doing. Has anyone who voted even heard this track? It is the best on the album. Wow. A lot of people
thinking the same thing when Giving Yourself Away was doing well. Has anybody ever heard this track actually? Because there's no way this could be this well.
I had Top Secret #1 as well.
Yeah. And then a lot of people writing in One Step Away. Yikes. Woof. Good song. Randy Lee jumped in and said, I play Shame loud enough to make the windows rattle. But hey, to say a favorite is like saying which child you like the best. Gee, dude, if you're comparing Detonator to your children, I don't know. God bless your children.
Wish you luck in the future. Say your prayer.
Exactly. And then we had a write-in vote for Hard Time. I like that one. I liked Hard Time. I like that one. So that's the Twitter feedback there. And let's get into some. Let's quickly get into some episode specific feedback that we had on this too, because that was the poll feedback. Okay. So we like to get into some of the episode specific feedback. And I'll tell you right now, we had our Kiss album Madness tournament going on in the middle of this. So I think a lot of people are excited about just voting in general. So a couple comments here. Our buddy Deuce. Zeus, I've never agreed with you more. Giving Yourself Away is awesome. The melody, the lyrics, and especially Steven's vocals. Dude, he had to have been listening to that song on mute. His speakers were unplugged. There's no way. None of that makes any sense.
Good job, Deuce.
Whatever. My Rock and Roll Heaven. I really underrated album that for reasons I don't understand takes a lot of shit. Great songs, great production, and even a decent ballad, LOL. Look, I'll be honest with you. When I first listened to the album, I was like, By the time we got around to the review, I did like it a little bit more. It had its issues, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. A lot of people like this album. Like, big fans here. A lot of comments here. Our buddy Steve jumping in. Deuce again. Joel Hoffman, good one, guys. Rat should have been up there with the big 80s bands. Just couldn't get that big push like Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Poison, and a few others, but had some great songs. I'm with Z. I love Giving Yourself Away. It's a great song. And then he says, this dude shreds, and posts a picture of that politician guy that looked like the guitar player from Rap. When you Google
the songwriter.
Yeah. When you Googled his name, yeah.
Terry Kilgore, I think his name is, right?
Yes.
The politician with the mustache.
Yep. Twisted Kister said, this is definitely here we go. He says, Zeus is my favorite member of the album review crew this month. The album is fantastic. Pop metal Rat is awesome. Christopher Hamilton, I love Rat. However, they didn't lack from opportunities. They had songs featured in Point Blank, The Golden Child, Weird Science. They had an MTV Unplugged. They toured heavily. They were as big as they could get, and that's fine with me. It's actually a good point. They were saturated throughout the 80s with a lot of chances to really make the leap. I thought they were big enough, but I don't know. So that's Twitter feedback there. A lot of good stuff.
I think they had a lot of good songs. They didn't have that one song to propel them after Round and Round, and that was the problem. And the problem they have a lot of good songs. You can hear one on MTV, you can see a video, but they're popular for a month. Then the next video comes out, and somebody else washes it away.
The problem with Round and Round is it came out too early.
Yeah,
it was too early in their career. If it came out like maybe 2 or 3 years later, maybe that could have pushed them. But when it came out, it was too early.
Quiet Riot, same thing. If they came out a little bit later, they'd probably be a bigger band than they are and last longer.
I don't know. We were just talking about this the other day. I think for me personally, other than Quiet Riot's big hits that still stand the test of time, I think those albums are not very good. That's just me. But
no, I get you. I'm just saying that they weren't they weren't big in the middle of a big push for that genre.
Yeah,
they were big on its own.
Yeah,
and then they faded after that, and they couldn't keep up with the rest of the gang.
Yeah, there was, and we've talked about this on other podcasts too. But for me, the Rat thing is, one is they're not handsome men, right? So
I take that back. Girls loved.
Yeah, but they weren't going to sell.
Piercy, and they loved Robin Crosby, and Warren's not a bad-looking guy.
Yeah, they just weren't going to sell.
Little midget guy in the drummer, not really bad-looking.
Yeah, but they weren't going to sell like Bon Jovi was on posters. Like that just wasn't going to happen. The pop thing came too late, right?
Yeah.
So this Detonator thing is now 90, right? Yep. And that's too late because there was a lot of pop metal on the charts in the late 80s. And then whether anybody wants to believe me or not, dude, I absolutely hate that pile of shit. Every rose has its thorn, but you got to have the big ballad if you're going to be big in the mid-'80s. That's just how it is. And if you weren't going to have a vocalist that could really, truly pull it off.
And they couldn't.
And it hurt you.
You mean to tell me that you think Every Rose, whatever that fucking song is, like his vocals is what made that song popular? It was a fucking ballad when he was like a pretty boy that the chicks liked, and he just sang it. I don't think he was
Piercy couldn't do it.
What a performance!
No, but Piercy could do that if he wanted to.
But Brett's vocals on that song were a little bit more soulful and than Stephen Piercy.
Brett Michaels is not what you would call a soulful singer.
What I'm saying is Stephen Piercy's voice is too dirty and raspy to pull off a ballad like that. He couldn't. And Motley Crue had Home Sweet Home. Poison had Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Warrant had Heaven. Skid Row had I Remember You. All these bands had these ballads that.
You're right. You have that. You're absolutely right. But I'm just saying. I just take exception to
I see what you're saying.
Michaels' vocals. His vocals are fucking brutal. He sounds like he speaks. He doesn't even sing.
It's the whole package.
Yeah,
and Steven couldn't pull that off. That's the difference.
Write it.
I hate it. I absolutely
hate
the Poison song.
No. Sonny was saying that he hates the song by Poison. All I'm saying they never even wrote really one. Even Giving Yourself Away is not really a traditional love song ballad.
Right.
Yeah. And that's my point exactly. Is you had to have that to have sustaining power.
Yeah. Even Dawkins tried it a few times and it didn't work. And Dawkins
got some good ones though.
But that's why Dawkins stayed in the middle of the pack like Rat. Yeah. Right? Wouldn't you say that's why they're both at the same spot where they are? Right around that same level.
What's that, Sonny? They're
not super handsome men.
No, they're not.
That's not an ugly band though.
It's the point of not ugly like fucking the guy with no teeth that we're going to talk about. Not that. I'm talking about teenagers out there buying poster after poster after poster after poster because of the poses.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not really what Dawkins was.
Right. Yeah. It's not like they were. It's not like with the posters they had of Phil Rudd. Cliff Williams. We're going to get into.
The lead singer needs to be like a heartthrob.
Absolutely.
As fat as Vince Neil is now.
That's right.
He was back then.
Yep.
So was Brett Michaels.
Yep.
So was Bon Jovi. So is David Lee Roth. That helps. Don Dokken in his goofy fucking urban sombrero he was wearing in the videos is not what you would call a handsome leading man.
No. And Dokken was hard rock at that time too. They weren't Dawkins. They were a little bit more edgy. I mean, they played the Monsters of Rock. I mean, like back when Monsters of Rock was not a joke, but like they played. They were like a heavier band. In retrospect, they kind of were similar to the rest of them, but they weren't like a pop metal band at the time. They weren't considered that.
No, but they were like kind of in the middle. They were like between the Bon Jovi looks and the fucking Ronnie James Dio looks,
Gandalf. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy was in a band called Elf. I mean, jeez.
Looks like an elf.
All right.
All right. Let's get over to Facebook. Okay. Over on Facebook, we got a bunch. Brad Rustoven, what a coincidence. Just covered Rat on my podcast last week. Talked a bit about this album. Out of the first 5 Rat albums, this lands at number 5 for me. Not a bad album. Just doesn't sound like Rat with all the Desmond Child influence. Okay. However, Heads I Win, Tails You Lose is the best song on here. Sounds like Rat to me. Great backing vocals. Love the chorus backing vocal coming in just a second late. And I'm not sure I understand the hate for Giving Yourself Away. Great bridge and chorus. Great song. And no, it's not worse than Nothing Can Keep Me From You. Wow. Speaking of Heads I Win and Tails I Lose, here's a great live version with Warren. And he posts a clip of that. Charles Eaton. Was going to wait till I finished listen to the entire episode. Then I heard 2 voices in the room disparage Giving Yourself Away.
Oh, my God.
One voice of reason in appropriate music taste pulled the rest of the critique out of the flame of your ridiculous dislike of the song. Thank you. I'm sorry. The 2 who do not deserve to have their names mentioned that hated this song are so expressly incorrect. Dude, that's like very polite to say they're wrong, but love this album. Love their first power ballad. And Loving You podcast is a dirty job, guys, even when 2 of you deserve a very big shame.
I give them points for creativity on sticking in the song titles in there, but dude, why are people so passionate about a bad song?
Matt Wallace, this album is fun and underrated. For fuck's sake, it's Rat. On that note, Bridget Fonda is still a smoke show, and Sonny Bukkake needs to just admit he wants to toss her salad. Great album pick, kids.
I saw her in another movie. I was watching some movie last week, and here comes Bridget Fonda. I'm like, oh, why is she in every movie now? I watch?
Dude, go watch Jackie Brown. Go watch
it in a movie.
I love that movie.
Yes.
Go watch Jackie Brown and tell me she looks like a boy in Jackie.
She looks
Brown.
like a boy. I love that movie. She looks like a boy.
God Almighty!
God,
give me Jackie Brown any day over her.
I won't argue with that. I won't argue with that. Pam Grier. Good God, she's a Foxy Brown in that movie. Damn. Oh. All right, keep going, Zeus. I went off the track there.
That's all right. Who's that big? I can't even say it.
Yeah, don't do it.
That's the best line. Daniel Peoples, listening to the album again. First, I had Rat, which had about 5 songs off this album, so it took a while to actually buy Detonator. But first thoughts are that this album is by far the most enjoyable listening to in the series of yours.
What?
Appetite and Super Unknown are better albums for me, but Rap's pop metal's perfection. I absolutely love the late 80s, early 90s era of rap. That pop polish hits the spot. Woo! Great job, Daniel.
Dear God.
Michael Rowan, great episode. Enjoyed it. Once I made it through painfully all the comments on Hailstorm.
Oh, come on.
Let's go off on a tangent on Lizzie Hale for the next 20 minutes, too. Again, you want to?
Maybe.
I posted a photo of her making out with some chick yesterday. To you guys. I think Sonny just recovered again.
Sonny Bukkake's back.
She was looking good. Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Haven't listened to that episode. I don't care for the band. I don't get all the excitement about a hot female rocker. I think we think we're like, oh, I've never seen a hot chick rocker before. Oh my God, I can't control myself. Settle down. No one's gonna say anything.
No, I don't know. I was just like thinking of Lizzie Hale making out with that chick in that picture. That's
fucking nerds, bunch of nerds. Never seen a hot chick before. Reminds me of the way my wife chooses the movies she likes. Cute guys in it must be good. Nah, they do far too many cover tunes for my liking. Give me the originals. Joan Jett would kick her butt. Go ahead, Sonny. I'll give this one to you. Comments?
First of all, Joan Jett would not kick her butt. And second of all, I'm stuck there too. Nicole will be all, we're watching that movie. Why? Because Denzel's in it. Okay, I guess we're watching the movie because Denzel's in it.
I like Denzel Washington too. Good looking. I'm taking him too.
Denzel's a good looking man.
Good looking man. He's looking good.
Looking good.
Rick Rarer, Rat and Roll, featuring Desmond Child. Over on Loudcaster's page. Woo, the comments are flying over there. Guys, Corey Thomas. Guys, just listen to this episode and as always, enjoyed it. Loved it. As a Rat fan, I had to wonder, what the fuck is Sonny and Tommy thinking? Great songs on this album.
Jesus.
I can't believe the beating you two got taken.
I love it.
Bring it on, baby.
Exactly.
Here we go. Kevin Jepson.
Oh, boy.
Yes. All I can say is Zeus is the man. Giving yourself away is fucking awesome.
Yeah, see, this is bizarre. I don't get this.
Number 1, Shane. 2, giving yourself away. 3, dirty job. I love that you guys were all over the place on this one. Another stellar review.
Thanks, Kevin.
Bill Algie. I'll be damned. Been listening to this today. Great record. Thanks, Bill. Michael Anderson. Great show from an okay album. Poor Poon Hound got stood up more times from Stephen Piercy than he's had hot dinners.
Poor Sonny.
And it was me. I was like, I don't think this was me, but I guess it was. I wrote back to him, yes, like all podcasters, he's not missing out on many meals. Don't worry.
Oh, nice.
Max Lynch. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about Rat that doesn't capture my interest, regardless of albums out of the set. I'll listen to them if they come on the radio, but never go out of my way to put them on myself. That's a probably problem with Rat, and that's why they never made it to the next level.
Exactly. Yep.
Brian Foster, I completely forgot about Top Secret. It's a killer track. I'd put it number 3 behind Shame and Loving You.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ray Farrell, great review as always, but it reminded me why I listened to this album maybe 5 times and never again. Loving You, Shame, and Top Secret are great. The rest is just pure Rat shit, like the bulk of the material after the EP, Out of the Cellar, and Invasion. Tom wins the day on this line. It would still feel better listening to Giving Yourself Away after Zeus said, sit on a spiked hairy cock.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
Yeah. Wow. Graham Richley. I stopped buying Rat before this album, so I never heard this before. Thanks, Zeus. This thing rocks. I dare say it's better than most of their album because someone who knows how to write catchy songs helped them out. It may not be one for the Rat purists, but she's 100% better than a lot of awful hair metal.
Mm.
Oh, Max Lynch had asked us where's All System Go on the album review because it wasn't in our rankings, and that's on because it was reviewed by the Kiss portion of this podcast. Yes. Adam Nickmeyer. I like the EP and love the album. I also overlooked this at the time with all the good albums, Dr. Feelgood, Cherry Pie, Flesh and Blood, Racer's Edge, Heartbreak Station, Empire, released around then. Zeus had the correct opinion on One Step Away. Terrible Poison opinion, though. Oh, he doesn't like that. We don't like, well, I don't like Poison. I don't know about you guys. Our local radio station, Max Lynch. Piercy also has given an interview about playing at the Whiskey Tonight. And that's it for Loudcasters over on YouTube. Devin Dungan. Great episode, guys. When you guys are talking about Terry Kilgore during All or Nothing, that interesting thing with him is that he was the lead guitarist for David Lee Roth on Your Filthy Little Mouth. Wow. And co-lead guitarist on the DLR band. His style of playing was actually a huge influence the way Eddie Van Halen played. Oh, awesome review of an extremely underrated record. Thanks, Devin.
Thanks. Nice.
Mark Stewart. Eddie Murphy was a fan of Rat. That's why their video was featured in his movie, Golden Child. If you don't believe me, Google it.
Oh, shit. Yes. Good call. Yeah.
Because it was Slip of the Lip, right? I think. Wasn't that the song that was? Oh, was it Dance?
Oof.
Body Talk. It was Body Talk. That's what it was.
That song sucks.
Yeah.
But anyways.
There you go. And that's what I got, Tom. Any other feedback?
Sonny's got a few emails he's going to jump in on.
So Anthony Barone, a late one in on Hailstorm here. Guys, especially, who the fuck is Sonny Pooney? Oh, thank you. Thanks for the introduction to the Hailstorm album. Album reminds me of when I was 10, listening to the Rumors album. My parents would have people over, and this and Chicago was always playing in the background. Sex was all over the Rumors record. Wow. I started noticing Stevie Nicks' voice and lyrics big time, a lot different than listening to a live, or the song sounds the same, or All World's a Stage. Then later in 93, started listening to Jagged Little Pill. I would put this CD on when he was on a date, and you know where the night ended up. I'm sure Sonny used this many times. No, not Alanis Morissette. No, I was at that point. I was with Silk.
Oh, Jesus Christ! that Alanis Morissette album. That's a good. That was a good album.
Joshua Caddison. Go look up Joshua.
Oh God, I know who he is too.
Instant getting laid. Now 2021, as I'm writing this, I'm cranking away on tax returns for clients and still jamming to the Hailstorm CD every day since the bonus episode. Sex is all over this record also. Brought everything back around full circle. Thanks for everything you guys are doing. And he's going to refrain from any Rush requests. Appreciate it.
Oh, come on, Tony. Thank you, Anthony. Great email. Thank you. And you never know. Rush could come down the road soon. Who knows?
Oh, good Lord.
Yep.
Tony Smith on Detonator. This is a decent album. I'm with Zeus on Giving Yourself Away, though I was like Tommy or Sonny when I first heard it. It grew on me over time. My take on the song is the first time I heard it, I swore it was Joe Elliott singing.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay. It has a Def Leppard feel to me. No. Album as a whole, 4 out of 5 stars. Speaking of stars, an idea I wanted to go over with you guys is maybe we could do a Star Child rating, 1 to 5 stars on every album. So it's an idea. Also wonder if you guys had any thoughts on picking one song from each album reviewed to create a bonus episode of Greatest Hits. I don't know. Maybe someday, Tony. Keep the ideas coming, buddy.
I mean, but I mean, you could interpret that as just taking our number one ranked song from every album review, and that would be the greatest hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, appreciate the feedback and appreciate the ideas. Who knows? The show's always evolving with new ideas, anyways. But thank you, Tony, as always, my friend.
Yeah. So, Tom, what we usually do at this point, we pivot and go into the actual album we're reviewing today. And this is a group pick, and we've been thinking about doing something for ACDC for quite some time. We were going to do the obvious, we got to do Back in Black. It had a big anniversary this year or last year. Mm-hmm. And we were going to do it last year, but we thought there was just too much on it. Everybody was doing it. So let's just wait. And then, we came to deciding to do it this year again. We're like, we got to do ACDC. And instead, we went with Highway to Hell, the Bon Scott era. And it's our album pick by the group. Next time will be Sonny's pick.
Me.
And
next pick will be me.
I thought we were going to skip over you because you said Rush. So
I'm not doing. I didn't say Rush would be my next pick. It'll be soon.
Anyway, regardless, I know I've been looking forward to this. I know you've been looking forward to this. What we don't know is that troll over there on the right. So, Sonny, you want to have some comments about AC/DC, or do you want to lead us off about how you got into the band and this album, and let's get started.
Yeah. So MTV Kid and mid 80s, the two videos that played over and over and over were Who Made Who and You Shook Me All Night Long, right? And I swear I thought You Shook Me All Night Long was a mid 80s song. I had no idea at the time that it was on Back in Black because they were re-releasing it for the soundtrack, right? So it was on MTV constantly. And I was like, it's okay. Like I was into Rat and Motley Crue and some of this other stuff, and I'm like, it's okay, but I won't turn it off. But it's not doing anything special for me. Then I started going seeing live shows in '86 onward. Any live show I went to, AC/DC songs were playing. Right? I'm like, how is it possible every show I go to has AC/DC and Led Zeppelin songs? There's no other music in this world. Like, no matter who is playing, when the roadies are setting up, you almost end up hearing all of these popular songs just by going to other people's concerts. You don't even got to own the music, right? Because these guys were not what you would call handsome men, and they were not all over MTV except for those two songs. So to me, because I'm an MTV kid, my introduction is Brian Johnson is the lead singer. I will tell you, every day that goes by in the last 5 to 6 years, I am more and more a Bon Scott fan. I enjoy more Bon Scott AC/DC than I do Brian Johnson AC/DC, and we'll get to why that is. But so I didn't really get into Bon Scott type AC/DC probably till the early 90s almost, because I couldn't really tell the difference between the two voices early on. Because, you're at a concert, it's just blaring. You can't really pick out like, oh, that's a different singer, or that's the third bassist in Tough. Like, you don't know that kind of shit when you're at a concert. I was just enjoying the music. And I think the first AC/DC album I really got was Back in Black, and then slowly added things to my collection. So that's kind of my AC/DC story.
All right. So for me, Highway to Hell comes out in '79. I'm 6 years old. As I've said many times on a lot of these other albums, album review crew episodes, I have a sister that's 4 years older than me. So she was 10 when this came out. I'll get back to Highway to Hell, but kind of move ahead to Back in Black, and especially for those about to rock. It was weird because 6, 7, 8 years old, my sister's 10, 11, 12, we were really, really into music, like rock music. Like, we would obsessively listen to the Boston rock stations. MTV hadn't come out yet around this time when Highway to Hell and Back in Black. But I remember my sister buying the For Those About to Rock vinyl with the gatefold. It's not the Kiss Alive 2 gatefold, but it's a pretty fucking killer gatefold. And to this day, I love that album. I think it's very underrated. That was almost going to be a bonus pick for this show, but I didn't get around to it. So, like Sonny, I started with the Brian Johnson era ACDC. My ACDC love is it's weird because what I love of ACDC, I really, really love. But I'm not a catalog, full discography ACDC fan. I stopped pretty much following them after For Those About to Rock. Paid attention to the hits that came off a lot of those other albums. Revisited them a little bit when Black Ice came out. I thought that had some good stuff. But like Sonny also, a little bit later on is when I really went backwards into the Bon Scott catalog. And to me, it's just night and day. Bon Scott all the way. I love Back in Black. And like I said, I love For Those About to Rock. We'll get into the details about why I like Bon Scott, in particular Highway to Hell. But I'm an AC/DC fan. One of my biggest regrets as a concert goer is AC/DC is one of the few bands I never got a chance to see live, and I regret that tremendously. I wish I could have seen them. But to this day, they're a band that I love. Listen to them routinely. Got my son into them. He likes them. So I'm excited to talk about this album because this is an important album for me, because I did get into it very, very young, probably a lot longer than I probably should have, especially when Highway to Hell came out, the song itself.
All right. So for me, I have the same story. It was my older cousin, Mike, who got me into Kiss. They had their Zeppelin stuff on the wall, and I remember AC/DC. And I remember hearing about somebody dying, but I remember Back in Black. You know, you're a kid. You have like these memories that go in and out, but you don't remember exactly who they're talking or referring to. But I also remember back as a little kid, we're talking about, you know, me in the 3rd or 4th grade or something like that, Dirty Deeds. And my cousins around going around Dirty Deeds, singing the song and the lyrics and stuff older. And I remember writing AC/DC, not even knowing what they were. You write AC/DC on a notepad, Led Zeppelin. You start doing the Kiss stuff and on your books and stuff. But I just remembered all the older AC/DC stuff. I remember those old videos on MTV, which were like kind of grainy, but there'd be concert videos of bands. Do you remember like Triumph's videos? It always I just remember For Those About to Rock video was always on. I never liked that song. And that's why I was like, ACD is up. But I got into Back in Black. I remember Highway to Hell and stuff. When I finally realized there were 2 singers as I grew up and got older, I'm like, that guy's got a fucking like a more like a melodic voice, soulful voice than that guy that was, you know, I call him that guy, but Brian Johnson basically, where Brian Johnson's got gravel in his voice and you can hardly understand any fucking word he's saying. And Brian Johnson's not going to do anything other than he's a Aussie type of singer. This is him, and he's an Aussie, Stephen Pearcy, Brian Johnson. That's those singers. They're not going to do anything different, but you like their voice. It's a good voice. It fits their music. I listened to Bon Scott, and so afterwards when I got into high school and college and stuff, I went backwards. And I fell in love with the Bon Scott era of AC/DC. And Highway to Hell is just, it's off the charts for me. And even all the earlier stuff that you start picking out favorite songs and favorite deep cuts from AC/DC. And then I've stayed along. I think I have every single album they've had. I even got the older Australian versions of their albums, which are not easy to find. I had to order them from fucking Russia to get the Dirty Deeds Australian version. High Voltage and stuff and TNT. I got those. Okay. So Highway to Hell is just so iconic. And it's just one of those things that I feel like, and we have this discussion when we talk about music. I've yet to ever have a discussion with somebody who's, I'm not talking pop guy. I'm talking about anybody in our circle of friends that likes hard rock, metal type music. Ever heard anybody in my life say these 2 things about 2 bands? There's only 2 bands. I've heard people say Kiss is nonsense. I've heard people say, I'm not into Zeppelin. 2 bands I've never heard of anybody say, that's Van Halen and that's AC/DC. I have yet to hear anybody be like, Van Halen. Someone might say, I don't like the Hagar stuff. But no one says shit about Van Halen. No one says shit about AC/DC. I don't know if you can, like, if you like hard rock or heavy metal, any of that stuff, I think it's like literally impossible in the senses in the brain to play any ACD music with those riffs and the way they go and to like this music, like, yeah, but I don't like this. It's impossible. If this is in your DNA, you have to like this. It's like the bloodline of hard rock and heavy metal is AC/DC. More so than anything, they are fucking consistent down the line. This is what they do, and you like it. You can't complain. So all of a sudden thrash comes in, people still like AC/DC. All of a sudden death metal comes in, people still like AC/DC. Soft metal becomes a little fucking disco-y. AC/DC is still doing their shit. I can't explain it. I think they are the poster child. If one band can to put up on that pedestal, it's AC/DC. I can't think of anybody else that would represent hard rock / metal better, because I don't think Zeppelin is they're too defined. Like their type of music can go into folk, blues, hard rock, metal. It's all over the place. But if you want to say hard rock metal, the king of the mountains is AC/DC consistently through the years. That's the king. There's no one close. Look at the albums. Dude, they've sold more records than the Rolling Stones. Who would have fucking thought that? Because, Kiss had already had their greatest upcoming, and they started downfalling. AC/DC haven't even ascended to the top yet by then. And then they come out of nowhere after their biggest album. Their lead singer dies, and then they just fucking shoot to the moon and just destroy Kiss in the charts and every other band and then everyone starts going back to their back catalog and be like, holy shit, this is incredible too. So I'm not like some of you would say, oh, AC/DC is a top 5 band for you, top 10? No. But I love them, and I can respect them, and I know what I'm getting with them. Honestly, I can't think of any other band that would represent this type of music that we like as being higher on the mountain than AC/DC.
AC/DC is always they're always that band, and you said it, Zeus. They're always that reference point whenever you make a joke or you make a comment about, well, I love Kiss, The Elder was different, Unmasked was different. If I want a band to play the same album all the time, I'm going to go listen to AC/DC. Van Halen did this. Oh, Metallica was different. They had Injustice for All, then the Black Album, then Load. If I want to listen to a band and put out the same album all the time, I'm going to go listen to AC/DC. That's not an insult. That's a reference point. And that's something. Now, there's nothing wrong with what Kiss did, varying their musical, Metallica and even Rush. I mean,
okay, I was going to say that. You told me that when you were telling me about Rush. You like telling me all these different hours.
Oh, God.
Name another bigger band. In the top biggest metal bands, they've all had a change.
All of them.
Metallica changed. Aerosmith definitely changed.
Yep.
Who's the other one? Led Zeppelin had different.
They all did.
Eras. Come on, who's the biggest bands in music, hard rock music?
Pretty much just named them. I mean, for the most part. But yep. AC/DC never veered off. Their rock style maybe kind of changed a little, but you always knew it was going to be hard, heavy riff rocking hard rock.
Bon Jovi, there's another one. They never stayed this. Everything's changed except for AC/DC.
And that's and that's the thing.
Priest. Oh, actually, I would say Iron Maiden maybe is one of the few.
Oh, they've changed too.
They changed a little bit later on.
Well, they have different singers too. I mean, but
their music,
their vocalists have changed a little bit. But
their music changed.
Yeah.
No, what the issue here is, and you can't even talk to this about Van Halen. There's times where Van Halen gets too complicated.
Yep.
These guys have mass appeal to everybody, and no matter how much the pop and the rap and the hip hop guys and the gangster rap and all these cliques that were in high school, they'd all tell you they all want to be cool. And you know what? Knowing who even AC/DC is a rock band and that you can say you like them helps you be cool. And it's easy to like them because they're 3 to 4 minute songs. about drugs, sex, and rock and roll. That's it, right? And so it's easy to like them. I'll tell you, of all the people that I know in my life that love the music that we love, none of them could name the 17 AC/DC albums. None of them.
Yep.
It's not about, I know the Elder was in 81 and Ace didn't play all the songs and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not that, right? It's not that kind of deep love. It is a universal love. And I'm telling you, I think you can go to country concerts and this shit is playing. It's playing everywhere. And so it just has mass appeal.
And you made a good point too about, being cool and liking AC/DC. And the thing that throughout their entire career, Bon Scott, Brian Johnson, they were cool because they weren't pretty boys. They didn't wear spandex. They didn't have poofy hair. They looked like sleazy guys that you went to high school with that smoked butts in the boys' room in between classes.
They worked the docks in the 70s or something.
Right.
Went to the local pub.
Right. Just jeans, T-shirts. I mean, we're going to get into the album cover. They were just regular guys that plugged in and played kick-ass riff rock. And there was no pretense about what they were trying to do. We're AC/DC. We're here to play hard rock. We're going to sing about drinking and fucking and partying, and that's it. And we look cool. We're not going to do ballads. We're not going to wear spandex. Bon Scott's not going to wear a purple jumpsuit. Angus Young has his outfit that he wears. We'll get into that. But this band, they just looked cool. And you always had, like Zeus, you said it, drawing the logo or wearing just an ACD. Everybody had at least one ACDC t-shirt. I have one right now. I know Zeus does too. Even if you don't like the band, I'm at the risk of sounding like a 10-year-old, they're just a cool band.
They're accessible.
That's why in the 90s, even a cartoon like Beavis and Butthead, when Metallica is at its point, one has Metallica, the other has AC/DC.
Exactly.
That's the universal, like, oh, he's a cool music lover.
Yes.
Right? And then the opposite is Stuart, who likes Winger.
Yep.
And so this is the thing. AC/DC always withstood all the cliches, all the ups and downs of that music. They were still themselves and still well-liked. I'm telling you, if I didn't realize it, if someone had asked me a couple years ago, who sold more albums, Kiss or AC/DC? I'd be like, oh, probably Kiss. Like, I wouldn't have thought of AC/DC more because you don't associate with fanatic AC/DC. Everybody just likes them.
Yep.
Everybody I know likes them. Now, they're probably more popular in certain areas, but there's not that, this is the fucking outfit that Angus wore on this tour. This is the fucking, Cliff Williams played this colored bass on this. He had the Punisher on this video, but not on that one. It's not the fanatic. Even Rush fans are fanatic more, I feel, than AC/DC.
Oh, yeah.
I think AC/DC is just loved by everybody. They sold more albums than the Stones.
Yep.
They're a top 10 selling artist of all time. That's insane. And, by the time they're already up to this album, they weren't selling shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now all of a sudden,
which is a good segue.
And then they come up and poor Bond passes away. And you'd think they'd be like, oh, fuck. How are we going to turn this around? And they only get bigger. I don't know any band that's really done that. So let's get into the album cover itself.
Hell yeah.
Who wants to start?
Sonny, go ahead, buddy.
All right. So this album cover, I just kind of got, Malcolm doesn't really want to be there. Cliff is like high, probably.
Yeah.
Feels like, hello, I'm here too.
Yep.
Right. And then you got Angus is doing his best Elvis there with the horns, with the lips. He's doing the best Elvis. And then it comes out in the music. It comes out in his personality. It comes out in the videos. Bon is just like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, I don't even understand why we're here. Right. And he's just laughing in the album art. I saw that thing, Tommy, that you sent about they wanted to put flames in it, blah, blah. I like the way it is.
Absolutely.
I like the way that, he's got kind of the devil horns thing and he's holding the devil's tail. It's not too put off. I guess Bond's jewelry could have been a lot more devil worshipy than what he's wearing. Like, he could have done that if he really wanted to. But I think it was still, I think what it's supposed to show you is we're serious, we're normal, we're a little dangerous, and we're fun all on the same time. That's what I see on this album cover.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think the record company, you know, I think they did the right thing not using that original image with, you know, it had the neck of the guitar, you know, like a highway with the flames. Too artsy. That's not AC/DC. This right here, like you said, Malcolm looks like that's a mugshot. Like, he looks like he's waiting for jury duty or something. You know,
he looks like every freaking kid you knew in junior high that like
he's just missing cigarettes and the rolled up in his t-shirt there.
Exactly.
Or the kid from Dazed and Confused. The kid was going to get his ass kicked.
Yeah. And then you're like, you said, and then
staying there.
Oh, I can't remember that poor kid. About? Yes. Oh, yeah. And then, you know, Cliff and Phil are like, hi. Hi. And then, of course, Angus steals the show. He's got a schoolboy outfit, the horns, the tail. The Bon Scott picture always confused me. And I like it because the four guys are so serious. You know, Angus got the sneer. It's Highway to Hell. And Bon's laughing. Like, to me, that is such an interesting twist on a rock band with a Highway to Hell title, that he's not like sitting there arms crossed or looking like Malcolm or looking like Cliff or Phil. He's like laughing while he has a pentagram around his neck. And I just thought that was, I don't know, to me, it might not be a great album cover, but no one can deny how iconic the album cover is, the front of it. And we'll get into the rest of it, but this front of it is just, it's amazing. I'm not going to say it's great. It's iconic and memorable.
I would say, yeah, iconic is the great way of saying it, because we all have it, you know, the image in our brains. But I think the way he is, Bon Scott, is a kind of like the wink, wink. Don't take this shit serious.
Exactly.
Whereas people might be like Highway to Hell. And that's why they didn't do like fucking like, this isn't Dio or Ozzy doing Highway to Hell as a cover.
No.
This is them kind of just doing it. And they're laughing that they made Angus look like that. And it's just a couple little subtleties, and then he's like laughing about it. Yep. And I'm glad they have this image of his face, because on the other side is like the missing teeth that he has. So that's why he's smiling on that side. But you're right. It took me a while sometimes, because Bon Scott, although he's kind of, you know, we all recognize him, he changed his hairstyle and stuff a lot. Mm-hmm. And even in this, you're like, is that, wait a minute, that is him.
It didn't even, it doesn't even really look like him, actually.
Yeah. And Phil Rudd looks like I don't know, like someone like Brad Whitford from like Aerosmith, like the short guy that's just like it almost looks like a Saturday Night Live skit. Yeah, like
what are we doing here?
What's going on? Like a fan wandered into a photo shoot and stuck his head out like, what's going on over here?
It's so just weird. Yeah,
he looks like a hobbit a little. Yep. Cliff looks stoned out of his mind. And Malcolm just looks like, yeah, this is what I wear. This is, all right, we taking a picture. What are we doing here?
Yep.
Yeah, he got the Elvis snare going on Angus. I just, this cover is so iconic. This certainly isn't your favorite cover, Tom. Van Halen's OU812 band photo.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not about the Van Halen.
It's not about no. And one thing we didn't mention too is it sticks out. It pops right out. Is that font? Just that iconic red. You look closely. There's some sparkles. It's tinted with a little yellowy orange. It's just that right there pops, because the rest of the album cover is brownish and kind of colorless. And then that just bursts out right at you, right at the top. And it just, of course, how many people drew the ACDC logo on your notebooks? That and the Van Halen, because they were easy to draw.
Now, check this out, right? So there's the red, there's the yellow, there's the brown.
Yep.
Very similar to Blizzard of Oz.
Yep, that's true.
Color scheme.
That's true. Which came out, the next year?
Year.
I think it was the next. Yep. And Zeus is holding up the original cover. Yep.
So I've got the CD. And the CD is from those remasters that came out when they did their whole collection over again.
I have the vinyl. I have the vinyl as well.
Great booklet. And they've got photos in here of the band. And he's got some sort of Bon has got some sort of like Hawaiian shirt going. Their hair is all look at Phil's hairdo in this photo.
Yep. Zeus, I have the vinyl and the sleeve is the booklet of the CD. So I'm looking at the same thing. Yeah. The pictures are hilarious.
Yeah. And the photos are fantastic of them. They're the band rocking out, Bon shirtless, Angus on Bond's head.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's that great little image at the end. And that's the band. I believe Malcolm's in a blue T-shirt. Yep. Angus has got the schoolboy uniform on. Bon with the Hawaiian shirt again. It's just, it looks like it came from 1979.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's just the image of the band, and I love these images too. And I'm sure people out there, I'm sure you have the remastered CD or the vinyl, and when you see the band and then you see these live photos, it's just like we were saying, they're just badass. There's nothing pretentious about any of them. Yeah, obviously Angus with the hat and the shorts, the schoolboy thing, Yeah, that picture of Angus throwing the can of paint with it like splashing in the air or whatever.
What I like is the guys in the back on the wall. Yep. They look like characters from Beavis and Butthead with their hands in their pockets.
Yep.
Right? Look at them.
Yep.
Just sitting there like, like, and Angus doing his thing.
Yep.
Oh, just fucking iconic.
Yep.
So I think this just cover is just, maybe it's because I'm so used to it, but I just think it's just fucking hit it out of the park with it. But now
the back cover is interesting because is that supposed to be dry ice? Kind of make it look like the smoke of hell? Is that what that's supposed to be?
Could be, because it's a weird photo. I mean, obviously the thing that sticks out to you is that psychotic look from Angus, but everybody else is kind of like fade to black type imagery with the fog. Yeah,
Bond's got like a fucking Miami Vice fucking jacket there too.
And then notice
different image.
He's not Mutt yet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. He's Robert John.
That's right.
Not Mutt Lange yet.
No, actually, I take that back. I'm sorry. On what and this might be because it's the remastered.
Oh,
it does say
the original.
Okay, see, this is the remastered vinyl from 2000, and I think this was 14. I can't remember. And it does say Mutt in parentheses. So, but what you're looking at, it didn't have the Mutt yet.
That's right.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Nice.
Let's get into some of the facts. 5th studio album, 6th technically, if you look at Australia. And we know the whole ACDC, the first couple albums, different tracks in Australia versus the tracks that got released on the regular outside of Australia versions, international versions of these albums. But technically, let's call it the 5th studio album, 6th in Australia. It was produced by Mutt Lange. We'll get into how he came into that. But it was released July 27th, 1979. Now, not even a year later, February 19th, Bon Scott dies. It went up to number 17 on U.S. Billboard's Top 200. It's considered Rolling Stone's number 200 on their 500 greatest album, but Rolling Stone doesn't know anything about rock music, so fuck off. It is now up to 7 times platinum. I'm assuming it's more than that, probably. And it's the last album they recorded with that lineup, that classic ACD lineup that featured Bon Scott. Now, originally, the band was going to go a different method than they had in the past. So they had always been produced by basically the famous duo of, I think it's pronounced Harry Vanda, and their brother, George Young.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So they had been their producer for years, and then they're talking about, okay, we need to get a new producer. Something has to happen. You got to change your producers. And they didn't. They said, okay, maybe they'll get rid of that guy Harry, but they're going to keep George. But when they decided like they had to go to somebody else other than George, it was a big deal for the band. And supposedly it was more Bon Scott asking for it more than the brothers, because they always felt that George was the 6th member. And basically, George had been kind of like a teen pop sensation in Australia. and him and Harry Vanda been producing all the ACDC albums, and they have this. It was an extremely tight bond, so they decided to go to Mutt Lange. But before they went to Mutt Lange, supposedly they got on. We were going to talk with Eddie Kramer, and Eddie Kramer went and met with them. And there's some funny stories there. They didn't like each other apparently, and I take it that they weren't fond of one another. They used a term. I don't know the term of it. It's probably an Australia term. They called Eddie Kramer. I'm trying to find it here.
Oh, he was a bit of a prat.
Yeah, I don't know what
the hell a prat is.
I think that just means like a bitch, like a pain in the ass type of term.
Yeah, and he asked him, like, supposedly, like, is this the guy you have here singing for you? What the hell?
Or is he bringing in the beer? Because he looks like it.
Yeah, but that's the thing I don't understand. Dude, you did Ace Frehley singing albums. Are you bitching about Bon Scott's vocals? Are you shitting me? Yep. What the fuck is wrong with you, Eddie Kramer?
And I think a lot of the problems that Eddie Kramer had with the band was the sound, but the way that they kind of kept themselves together and organized themselves in the studio. So I have the ultimate ACDC book, ACDC Maximum Rock and Roll, the ultimate story of the world's greatest rock and roll band, written by Murray Engelhart and Arno Durio. It's pretty awesome. And as Zeus started to talk about with Eddie Kramer, lots of issues here with Eddie Kramer. So I just want to read a couple excerpts here, some of his quotes about his experiences with the band here. He says, obviously a much rougher, tougher, grittier, simpler kind of vibe. The two brothers were just really calling the shots, and I thought that they had it down with that singer, Bon Scott. He was bloody amazing. It was just incredible. But that said, Kramer said there were no parallels with the band that had been a huge influence on AC/DC from the beginning of their career. He said, the Stones had a much higher level of sophistication than these guys. Totally different sort of animal. They had the issues kept going. The different things that they kept saying about that Eddie was saying about the band, that the band was saying about Eddie. Eddie said another one, quote, they were a very independent bunch. Obviously, they were very talented, and I thought we could make a really good record here. But I think the problem that I had with it was that the material wasn't quite ready, and the way they worked was in a sort of a strange manner. It was kind of, we've got these songs, but Bon Scott was having problems with the lyrics and problems with drinking and everything else. In retrospect, he was the prototypical tough guy rocker in his image in terms of drinking and carousing and being completely out of control. That was his style, and I wasn't used to dealing with that. You produced with Ace Frehley. Hello. He said Kramer just he didn't think that he didn't think that AC/DC was very interested in him in his professional background. He didn't think that AC/DC really gave a shit. He had another good line too about his experience working with Kiss, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Even Malcolm said, like, Eddie Kramer wanted respect that he had worked with Hendrix.
Yes,
and Malcolm's like, well, you might have turned knobs, but you ain't Hendrix.
Yes.
I'm not giving you that kind of respect.
Yep.
Yeah, and they were bitching that he wanted him to do that "Give Me Some Lovin' song."
I love that song, but I don't know.
Can you imagine that?
ACDC, you might like, "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears, but you don't want fucking AC/DC doing that song.
This is a great quote. Malcolm Young said, quote here, he says, Eddie, we soon learned, was just a good sound man. He gets good sounds, but this guy walked in, he played us a Rolling Stones track, played us another track and said, put that verse together with that chorus and I'll get you a hit. And we just looked at him and went, fuck off. Eddie Kramer said, I like to hear hit songs. I think that's really important. But once again, that wasn't the way to do this band. This band required a specific type of handling, which I had no idea how to do at the moment in my career. This is great. I was used to working with Kiss, who were rough and ready in a different sort of way. I had a rapport with Kiss, which I didn't have with this band, and there were some problems. That's a lot of Eddie Kramer's quotes about the difficulties that he had with the band. And I think it is funny. He had recorded multiple albums with Kiss, but I think the difference with Kiss and ACDC, Kiss still had Paul and Gene. There was no Paul and Gene with ACDC at the time of recording Highway to Hell.
No, but I think ACDC also had their probably had the two brothers. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
like pissed off they had to change their brother, and so they were going to look at whoever you brought in to be like, who the fuck you? What? Fuck you? Right. Like right?
Literally.
And so maybe they're like, okay, you don't like fucking Eddie Kramer. All right, let's bring this guy in, and then they bring in Mutt Lange, who we've talked about him before. Because we talked about Mutt Lange. This is his second album we've done with him.
Mm-hmm.
He has done this album. He has done Back in Black. He has done Pyromania. He has done Hysteria.
Amazing.
Okay, so that's 4 right there. Then he did his wife's 3 albums that are diamond. 3 that are diamond.
Mm-hmm.
That's 7 diamond albums. That is insanity.
Yeah. Yep.
I think you listen to what that guy wants to do when he's producing. Oh, but I'm an artist. I can't let him do shit. Like, fuck off. AC/DC will do it. You should do it. Shut up and listen to the guy.
Yep.
And I think that, where all the research I looked at, he seemed easier to work with, right? Instead of you will show me respect, blah, blah. There's stories about he's sitting there and he's like, okay, well, Angus, show me the solo you're going to play. No. Hit that note, bend that string, and then hit that note, right? Or these stories about, Bon, I want you to sing it this way. Well, if you can do it any better, you fucking do it. Okay, sitting right there and belts it out. And Bon's like, oh, fuck, who is this guy? Right? So there's a respect there that it's a working class guy that's willing to work with us.
Yeah, and he did do a lot of, like you said, a lot of work with Bon's vocals. You go back in the albums before Highway to Hell, which I love, Powerage, Let There Be Rock. Like I love those. The earlier ones, Dirty Deeds and High Voltage. The band sounds a little different for me, but Let There Be Rock and Powerage, or however the hell you pronounce it, those are great. And Bon's vocals on that they're still Bon, but you can definitely see the Mutt influence on Bon's vocals, on what he does in these songs, and I can't wait to get into that. But you're right, Mutt is extremely demanding and precise down to note for note for note. But it's funny because at this time, Zeus, there was no Pyromania, there was no Hysteria, there was no Back in Black. So as Mutt became that monster of a producer, but at this time he was still kind of he had success, but he wasn't the guy that we came to know. Yeah. And I think, like you said, I think the biggest difficulty, and I'm not going to blame Malcolm and Angus, was not working with George and Harry. That was huge.
Yeah. And at this point though, the band is already in a groove. It's the same 5 for quite a few albums now. Bon, Angus, Malcolm, Cliff, and Phil, the classic lineup. Mm-hmm. And they were just ascending. And I think what happened was, before, Powerage was kind of a serious album.
Yep.
More hard rock, blues, kind of but serious stuff. And they want to have a little bit more fun. And this is a lot more fun, this album. And you can tell. And they kick it off with just, we'll get to it. But anything else before we get into the first track?
I think a couple comments I want to make, just generally speaking, about this album. And everybody talks about Bon Scott for good reason. And everybody talks about Angus for good reason. But I think one of the things that Mutt as a producer does that really suits AC/DC, and we talked about it, is the simplicity of AC/DC. I think 2 of the most underrated things on this entire album is Cliff Williams' bass and Phil Rudd as a drummer. These songs fly because of those 2 guys. Obviously the riffs of Angus, but when we get into the track by track, what Cliff is doing on a lot of these songs, it reminds me a lot of what Gene did on a lot of the Dress to Kill songs, where his bass was kind of keeping that groove going with the riffs that you're hearing from Angus. In Gene's case, we're hearing from Ace and Paul. I think that kind of production, it really highlighted the strengths of a simple, and I don't mean that as an insult, a band like AC/DC. And you, Zeus, you brought up a point that I was going to say about Powerage, a serious hard rock album. Highway to Hell, it's like a ballsy, dirty, sexy, swaggery, drinking party album. And there's one serious song on it that we'll get into, but the rest of it, this is party blues-based boogie rock that I don't think I had never heard before or since in the ACDC catalog. Powerage had some of it. Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be. It's a great song, stuff like that. But this album, I think the whole album is like this. And the production just breathes life into these songs, letting all these instruments breathe and separate and just give a groove that I just think is undeniable.
Sonny?
I was going to say the same thing. It's the, I'll talk about Bond for a second. It's the sexiness and the swagger that attracts me. It's the don't take yourself too seriously. It's the have fun, but still get your job done. I didn't mean that for Ryan, but it did. And with Brian Johnson, it feels like old guy.
Yeah.
That's grandpa up there singing. Right? And instead of, I always saw Brian Johnson as a guy who's like, if you need to go take a shit, go take a shit. That's what you're doing when you're singing. Right? But it's like, but for whatever reason, Bond sounds similar, but it doesn't sound like that. Like there's a sexiness to this guy, although he's not what you would call a handsome man.
No, there is a rock star ability. Like it's the old Eddie Murphy line about there's some singers getting some pussy that are ugly motherfuckers. Like
Yep.
Bon Scott is like he's got a swagger about him. The shirt's wide open, the teeth are missing, his hair's a fucking mess, jeans way too tight. And while we talk about this album, we did our research, and there's an awesome little documentary on Amazon that you can see about the making of this album with a bunch of characters that are describing this album that look like the Misfits or fucking, what'd you say, Tom? Look like Nosferatu come alive.
So if you've seen Rock Docs before, and this one's called Highway to Hell Classic Album Under Review on Amazon Prime. So one of the guys, his name is Malcolm Dome. He's a British rock journalist. He's a bald guy. Holy fuck, though. His teeth, dude, he looks like Austin Powers, but he's a real person. And he looks like the bald man from Salem's Lot. He's Nosferatu. But all these guys, they all look like guys that would go see like an ACDC cover band. The documentary's fantastic. It's about an hour and a half long. It's really good.
They're wearing like men's extra medium tight t-shirts that just are not fitting properly.
Dude, each guy they interview is uglier than the next.
Oh
It's horrific. But it's a really good it's good.
I was on the floor dying watching this thing, right? And Nicole comes into the room. She goes, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Look at Bon. Bon has these cut-off shorts."
I have pictures of it.
Nuts.
I forgot. I took pictures of it
all over the place. And I am on the floor. And I'm saying hickory nuts, and Nicole's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Sonny, I said the same thing. I said, somebody has overtaken John Bon Jovi with the nut huggers and the hickory nuts. And his name is Bon Scott.
Shorts, oh my God.
Those are the most...
That would be like if I tried
the most unflattering fucking emasculate fucking pair of shorts a man should ever wear.
Everything we just said about them being cool goes out the window with Bond wearing those jorts. I mean, it's just
he's walking around in public.
Okay, and I'm going to send you the photo that I'm talking about here. And like, honestly, Angus Young looks like teenage Bobby Brady.
He looks
from
like
the Brady Bunch.
That blue striped shirt.
Yeah, and his hairdo, he looks like the last season of the Brady Bunch, Bobby Brady.
He looks like he's about 12. Like I mean, he's always looked young, but I tell you, and the thing I love about Bon Scott, and you talk about fucking stage swagger. There's no shirt. He's not wearing a shirt. There's no shirt that's good enough for Bon Scott when he's performing live.
Oh God,
it's just not happening. Like
he's got a moose toe. Oh, fucking, I don't know what he's got there going.
Dude, Bon Scott looks like that's an old man's body with a young man's head. It's like Photoshop.
It's like the Walmart photos, like shoppers at Walmart online. You see all photos of people. Like some guy This looks like some like crackhead in Nebraska going to Walmart.
And I love when they interview him. I had to watch this entire thing with subtitles on. I don't know if you guys did. I'm like, I fucking can't understand anything you guys are saying. Between the band themselves and the ugly British journalist trying to talk about the album, and that guy we talked about before we hit record, that poor guy, no one told him that Doors t-shirt doesn't fit him anymore. You guys got to go back and watch this documentary.
Yeah, he was just not a very flattering photo. Oh. Yeah, they're only a few years removed from like Bon Jovi and the tight, like leopard fucking spandex, hair poofed up, like image conscious. Could you imagine if they walked out like, yeah, but we want to appeal to women too. Here's our group. And they see this fucking group walking down the street.
They're all like short, scrawny, like meth addicts. Like they're all like...
But they kick ass and they rock out. So good for ACDC.
I know.
But yeah, they would be a record company's nightmare if they ever fucking try to come out big in the mid 80s. But thankfully the music spoke for itself.
Oh yeah.
So before we continue talking about the handsomeness of those guys on that documentary, let's get into the tracks because I can't wait to discuss this stuff.
Let's do it.
So I don't know if you've heard this one, guys. But here it is.
All right, so fuck Knights in Satan's Service. We're just going to piss everybody off and release an album and a song called Highway to Hell. I can only imagine what the religious nuts were thinking at this point. I'm sure they at least contemplated the religious shit that this was going to bring, but I guess they didn't care. Total sing-along anthem. There is no doubt about it. Malcolm had said something about they were going through hundreds of riffs every day, but this one stuck out like a dog's balls. Like, I guess I don't speak Australian, so I don't understand some of this stuff.
It's a great line.
Yeah. But at some points, this works against what I like, but the slowness of this song and the tempo is so important because there's like this swagger that it creates. It's a little more haunting, but a little more gritty. If a song was any faster, I'm not sure it would sound right anyway. And then I got a story connected to this damn thing. So I'm working at this building down in San Bernardino for a couple of years, and one of my friends, his name was Walt. I take him to his first rock concert. He's in his late 40s. Okay, we go to see Rival Sons and Hailstorm in Anaheim. So standing room only, and for whatever reason, a lot of bikers in the audience. I have no idea why. A bunch of bikers and hard asses, and we're standing there waiting for Hailstorm to come on. Rival Sons is done. The roadies are doing their thing, and Highway to Hell comes on, right? And Walt goes, "Oh, what song is this?" I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, you're gonna get us fucking killed here, right? Like." Calm down. You're going to get us killed, right? He goes, well, how am I supposed to know? The last concert I went to was DeBarge. Oh. I'm like, dude, that's going to get us
That's going to get him killed.
Absolutely. Shut up while you're here.
Oh, my God.
As everybody else is rocking out the Highway to Hell, I brought the only guy that's never heard the song.
He's sitting there dancing a rhythm of the night.
I know.
Oh, my God. Damn.
But... one of the best opening songs on an album, period. It is an awesome song. I absolutely love this song. Always have. Never turn it off.
Yeah, there's something to be said about a song that is 40 plus years old that just sounds so fresh, so fun, so exciting, so raw, just timeless. You've heard it a billion times, but you always want to listen to it. It's a riff that you love because in your mind, you can play it. It's an easy song. There's nothing complicated. It is a drum beat, a killer riff, and a guy singing like you believe every word he's saying. And in terms of the pantheon of album openers, I just made a quick list of my personal. You're talking about iconic album openers. You got this. Welcome to the Jungle, Detroit Rock City, Enter Sandman, just iconic timeless songs that you are never going to get sick of, but you're going to hear them for the rest of your life a million times. You're going to hear them at rock concerts. You're going to hear them at sporting events. You're going to hear them at arenas. And there's a reason that this song is what it is. And it's just, I don't know, every time you hear that opening riff, you just get like a goosebump, and you've heard the song a million times.
So the song is written by Angus, Malcolm, and Bon Scott. Every song on the album is credited like that. So I'm not going to repeat myself every time. Angus Young, Malcolm Young, and Bon Scott, the three primary songwriters. And this one is Highway to Hell. It went number 47 on the Billboard charts in 1979. It went to number 1 in mainstream rock in 92, number 1 in Billboard Hot Digital Songs in 2012. I don't even know what the fuck that is, but it did. And the other one I would add is Smell Like Teen Spirit. Opening riffs. Got to put that in there. Maybe the number 1 of all time.
Whoa.
Opening songs. Yes. The legendary riff. Oh yeah. Why? Oh, that's so easy. That's so easy. Okay. Why didn't you do it?
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, he sings it so easy. Really? Why didn't you put your lyrics? You sing it like that. It's not easy to sing this, to hit the right spot in this beat and that chord and those drums, and not to over dramatize the vocals on this or to egg it on to miss the beat. He hits it right on the exact spot he needs to. And I bet you they worked at it and got it exactly where they needed to get it. Now, I have heard Crazy Train. I have heard Shook Me All Night Long. I have heard Rock and Roll All Night. I have heard, I don't know, Jump. What other fucking unbelievable song? This is one of the few classic songs that I can say I have no fatigue in. When it comes on, I blast it.
Yep.
Welcome to the Jungle. This, Stairway to Heaven, Smells Like Teen Spirit. I don't give a fuck when it comes on. I can blast it, and I never tire of it. There are times I'll even seek it after all these years to play this song. That's how fucking good it is. The lyrics are fantastic and fun, and they're either supposedly about the tour schedule. They're on a continuous highway to hell, tongue in cheek there. And there was also the other part where supposedly it's about a road where Bon used to go drinking at his favorite pub, a very dangerous road where a lot of people had accidents and died and going to a pub, and they call that the highway to hell. It's something called Canning Highway in Perth. Mm-hmm. So that could be one of the things. And, it's listed 258 on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest songs, but then again, Rolling Stone sucks. Martin Popoff, good friend Martin Popoff over on Pantheon Podcast, made it number 23, the top 500 heavy metal songs. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame put it top 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. The ringtone for this went gold. This is, I don't know. And I still would probably say either Back in Black or maybe Shook Me All Night Long might be more famous, but this to me is quintessential AC/DC.
I think that opening riff is, I think everybody knows that. And I think this song, first of all, it's a perfect opener on its own, but it's a perfect opener for the album where you're trying to make your mark in America with a producer like Mutt, because you know what you're into or what you're in for with this. You're in for simplicity. You're in for riffs. You're in for an album that is going to let the songs breathe, let the instruments separate and breathe. That this is the perfect example. Bon is singing in between a simple drum beat and a simple riff. The bass doesn't even really kick in until the chorus. It's a very simple to, take in this song. And I think that's part of its success. It's the definition of an earworm.
But in addition to that, it's almost the blueprint of Mutt Lange's success.
Yep.
This is a Mutt Lange produced song.
Yep.
Because you can take this and then you can go, I hear some Photograph in there. I hear some, Pour Some Sugar on Me. I hear Any Man of Mine from Shania Twain. I can hear AC/DC do a Shania Twain song, and I can hear Shania Twain picking up on an AC/DC song, making a countryside version the way they do it. And you can hear, because that's the same thing. The beat, the guitar, or the violins at the same time if you do Shania Twain, in the guitar, in the drums. And there's something about that where the space comes in and the riff goes out. I don't know. He just knows how to do it. He knows how to make certain songs fucking click. And you know, I don't want to give too much credit to Mutt Lange because this is ACDC doing this, but he brought it out of him on this. And to come up with a song title, Highway to Hell, this imagery, that title, where they are in their band, okay, and that unique kind of like, okay, we're calling, that's a bold statement. And to back it up with a song as good as this, that's fucking huge. Because this song could have been like, all right, you called it Highway to Hell, but songs, this kicked it like fucking out of the park. Oh,
well, like you said with Mutt, and you said on Pyromania, listen to the beginning of Photograph. It's a simple, iconic riff with a simple drum beat that's paired up with that riff. It's not that different from the beginning of Highway to Hell. And
you say it's not that hard, but then
right.
you do it.
Exactly. And that's the defining song, for me at least, of Def Leppard. Other people would say something different, but that's a Mutt. That's that style, that breathable song.
It's like he has what are those things called in your brain? Those end things, like he knows the scientific way to make those things tingle in your brain. Like, that's something I like.
Yep.
Or just play something like this, but make it a little different so it's not exactly the same. But the same kind of area, he knows that'll go into any rocker's brain, and they'll guarantee to like that.
Yeah, because I think there's that piece of somebody has to be sitting there, and I'm assuming this Mutt, that's going, all right, guys, like, this can't be devil worshiping.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to make this listenable. It doesn't matter how trying to fun you're being. The title is going to work against you no matter what. So if you don't make it somewhat listenable, this thing's dead before it begins. Right? Mm-hmm. But if you can be rebel and connect, and people think it's cool and easy, you can have something to last forever.
Yeah, the Highway to Hell is badass. It's not like devil worship.
That's
right.
It's
like we're rebels and we know we're doing it this way. Yeah, this isn't fucking let's do this song by Saxon.
Venom. Right? Have you heard anything by Venom?
Yeah.
It's not listenable shit.
Yep.
Hey, Saxon, let's come up with an album and a song called Highway to Hell. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, they do have a song called Denim and Leather.
Oh, good Lord. The video. Dude, I really don't like it when guitarists don't clip their strings. It drives me absolutely crazy to roll your strings up at the end. It's lazy. It's sloppy. I don't like. I couldn't get my eyes off of it. I know it's stupid.
Speaking of strings, we're about 2 hours, an hour into this, and we forgot to thank our intro musician Tony from Restrained. Yeah. Does he clip his strings? Tony, you can chime in on that. I bet you do.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I love these videos because they're not real videos. Because I love watching this band perform. One of the coolest things, and you really see it. I know it's not Highway to Hell, but you really see it in that For Those About to Rock video that Zeus was talking about. I love like when Cliff and Malcolm, they stand in the back, they play their music, and then when it's time for them to sing, they step up. And then they step back. I just think that just so, and when they do it, they that they're like, oh, this is my chance to get in front of the mic, and then they just go back. And I just think love it.
They've been told by Angus, you can step up if you want to stay up here, but I am not responsible if the head of stock of my guitar ends up in your ass.
Oh, exactly.
I don't know where I'm going to move next.
That's right. That's why those guys are statues behind the microphone. They're not moving. Yep.
Isn't that as iconic as his schoolboy outfit in his little fucking Chuck Berry duck walk thing that he does there?
Yep.
Isn't it iconic with what's his name, Malcolm, and his guitar? And just coming with his hair, the long shoulder length hair, and just coming up to the chorus part and then stepping back. The bass, it's Cliff like, plugging along, banging his head. And Phil is usually in the background, just, bopping his head, playing the drums, like very nonchalantly, not going nuts, not looking like, yeah, fucking rock and roll. Yep. And then Bon Scott with his Jay Leno denim outfit. and jeans so tight he's wiping his pancreas.
Dude, can you buy a shirt? Put a fucking shirt
He doesn't
on.
need a shirt. He's Bon Scott, dude.
Yeah, and God bless Angus, but like the guitar, like I never liked those Gibson guitars. I never liked them.
I think it looks, it's iconic for him, but I know what you mean.
It is.
Yeah.
He's the only one that can pull it off because anybody else held the guitar like that and did shit like that. I'd be like, this guy looks like an idiot.
Yep.
But Angus makes it cool. He sticks out. And it's just, how the fuck, let's just say the obvious, how the fuck does he not have a headache?
Oh,
How the fuck does he do
not
that?
have neck surgery and all that?
I know.
How
stuff
does he,
like
how is he not like, dude, I can't do this today. I just can't. That's why he's not a drinker. And he's not, because if he was a drinker, imagine doing this drunk or hungover.
Yeah, he'd be Ace. Yeah, he'd be Ace.
Ace couldn't do this one concert. Imagine Ace, you're gonna step in for the role of Angus Young. What the fuck is that? I ain't doing that shit.
Dude, he can't stand up straight in those fucking Ace boots. Imagine him trying to do this shit for friggin' 90 minutes.
God bless Angus.
Yep.
He's been doing this for how many years and he's still not tired. He's still doing it. The guy's a machine.
He is.
You know, he's just not a drink. All he did was smoke cigarettes.
Yep.
Fucking insanity. God bless him, man.
And
we got to say the guitar solo on this, legendary.
oh god, it's just Angus is just. Oh, I don't know. What can you? I feel like what can you say about Angus? Like it's just he's fucking Angus Young.
The other part to this, and we probably should have said this more in the beginning, but I think his brother is so underrated. Never mind as the rhythm guitar player, the quintessential. I don't need the spotlight. I will keep this going, little brother. You fucking do your thing. I've got this. Mm-hmm. And the vocals and the lyrics and just being solid there. You got Angus doing his thing, but even Angus, I would say, never gets credit as the guitar player that influenced people. People all say, oh, Angus, guitar god. But like, they're not talking about him like, oh, I learned from Angus. I play this like Angus Young.
And I think that's because we said it earlier. I think they look at it as he's fantastic, but it's simple riffs. It's three chord riffs or whatever. Yeah, okay, that might be true. But look, Zeus, you've said it. You do. You said so. You do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But the difference is,
he's not Kirk Hammett. He's not Randy Rhoads. He's not George Lynch. He's not even Tony Iommi. Yeah. He's Angus Young, and there's nobody like him.
But it's exactly what you said. Is Rhoads, Halen, right? Yep. There's these guys coming up. Lynch, Iommi, Malmsteen is coming up right after this.
Yep.
Right. So there's guys coming that I think is just uncool for a guitar hero or somebody who wants to pick up and play a hair metal guitar and is in a band in 1989 and say Angus is my go-to guy.
You're right.
Right?
Yep, because he wasn't flashy.
Not a lot of guys play the SG either.
That too.
So it's not like it's, nobody, like a lot of the times a guitar god gets connected to the guitar they play because other people play the same guitar. The SG is just not that popular.
Yep.
And he never looks like, although he's got the crazy Angus move, he never looks like he's on his knees in front doing the finger going and stuff that you're like, holy shit, look at him go. I wouldn't say he's overly like melodic because they're fast bursts of speed and some melody in there, but they're not over melodic, like strings being held and notes being bent. It's just a lot of fast, good guitar that makes you rock, and the solo kicks ass, specifically like on this one. It's just an incredible, legendary song. And I think we did it some justice the way we talked about it. But let's go to song track number 2. Go.
So confession time for me. My woman has serious rhythm, but I'm assuming Bon is not talking about dancing. Like that's not what he's talking about. Huh? Simple riff, fat hook. I mean, there's just such a raunch to it. It's got the groove. And this is kind of where you realize, and maybe most people don't realize, both Bon and Brian Johnson, they have actually a pretty good range in their vocal. like for me, I was a karaoke nerd way back when. Like I'm not a great singer, but I can sing some Kiss songs, some Prince songs. I can sing some Bon Jovi songs. I sing some Temptations. Dude, I cannot.
Hey, not well. But go ahead.
Oh, I cannot. I can't touch a note on an AC/DC song. Like, and I've seen other people try and really struggle. Like it's not easy because I think there's a lot more range there than people give it credit for. The song is a perfect tempo after Highway to Hell. There's no doubt. That whole girls got rhythm, backseat rhythm, right? That's all Mutt right there. There's AC/DC's not going to do that on their own, and George would have never been able to bring that. And overall, I mean, it's a great raunchy song. And I know that's weird to say, but because it kind of looked like old men doing this raunchy song, although they're not that old actually yet. We'll talk about their age here in a minute because I got it written down, but I love this song. I really do.
This song is one of the reasons. I mean, Highway to Hell is the go-to song. Girls Got Rhythm would be considered probably a deep cut. I mean, there's really no deep cuts on this album. But this song is the reason why I love Bon Scott era AC/DC and why Highway to Hell is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's got that boogie blues groove to it. We just spent all this time talking about how AC/DC is one of the greatest all-time hard rock / metal bands of all time. This is like, you could tap your toes to this song. You could almost like dance to this song if you had to. And when I listen to this song too, I'm a huge Bob Seger fan. Okay. I don't know where you guys stand on Bob Seger. I love Bob Seger. Early 70s Bob Seger. If you turn down the guitars on this song and gave Bob Seger this could be a Bob Seger song. And I mean that as a compliment to both AC/DC and Bob Seger because I love them both. It's that kind of bluesy groove rock song. Another earworm of a riff, more Mutt. And like you said, Girls Got Rhythm, the gang vocals, the call and answer. It's just an amazing song. It's a standout track for me on this, which is why Highway to Hell is the album that it is for me.
For me, I could just simply say every single time, great vocals, rhythm section kicks ass, incredible riff, fucking catchy as all hell, great solo. Yep. I could say the same thing on every fucking song.
Yep.
This specific song reminds me, and I feel like it comes into another song. And then this is, before I tell you what I think it is, I think this is quintessential AC/DC. When you hear something, you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like that song by, I don't know, Cinderella did that. Or this song sounds like Van Halen's this song. No, every time I hear an AC/DC song, I'm like, oh, that sounds like the previous AC/DC song this. Or that sounds like that AC/DC song this. It's the same stuff, so I get it. And that's why that famous Gene always says, when you ask AC/DC, your new album sounded like your last album. They say, no. It sounds like all our albums. And God bless them. Gene always gives credit to AC/DC about that. God bless him too.
Yep.
So I will say this song sounds like it turns into Flick of the Switch. And I fucking love the album takes a beating, but the song title, Flick of the Switch, I love that. This is a great riff. And it's the typical AC/DC. You can picture this like a live video of the band as you just described, Highway to Hell, Girls Got Rhythm, and all of a sudden Cliff and Malcolm jump to the backstreet rhythm. They go back, and then they come back, and then they go in the background, and then Angus is in the forefront doing his thing in the front, and Bon Scott's in there rocking with his, cut dungaree fucking outfit on. His nut tug is out, It's fucking quintessential AC/DC.
Did you notice on the top of the Pops video, he's wearing Nike shoes? The guy who sang Highway to Hell and supposedly is the biggest, baddest rocker, fucking druggy drinker on the planet is wearing Nike shoes.
That's a borderline least metal moment right there.
Yeah. He's not what you would call a fashion icon.
Hell no.
He's not about the fashion.
It's not.
Let's go to the next track.
So Walk All Over You, I love that the song just kind of builds and then it calms down and then it builds again. Then it gets to that crazy guitar solo and then the gang vocals at the end. Like that there's a bunch of earworms there and it's a really, really well-crafted song. The lyrics are a little interesting to me because I can't really figure out if it's, hey, you push me, I push back, or are these like, they sound a little rapey almost. So that whole, reflections on a bedroom wall, I'm glad you got to see it all. Like we're rising and falling like the sea. You're looking so good under me. That feels a little rapey to me. I don't know about that.
Could be.
Now, third song on the album, you realize this album's somewhere between punk, hard rock, heavy metal, boogie, right? So this is that mass appeal we're talking about, and it's cool because they attract everybody, and the song just ends perfectly. I was wondering, because I was watching the video on this one, and all the videos are very similar, but I'm like, wait a second, how old are these guys? So the ages of these guys at this moment in time is Angus is 24, Phil is 25, Malcolm's 26, Cliff is 30, Bon is 33.
Oh, wow.
So they still have, for a couple of these guys are getting close to middle age, right? But the two main songwriters, which are Malcolm and Angus, really long term, they still got time to grow.
Yep.
Right. So I don't think at this point it would have still surprised me. Back in Black did so well, but then realizing how young they are in their bang zone and they got the producer they want that can make them sound the way they want. Now it doesn't surprise me that Back in Black was so big.
Yeah. Yeah. Walk All Over You. One thing that ACDC is excellent at, especially on this album, is their intros. And I love how the beginning of this song, you're not quite sure what you're getting. It starts off with that little moody intro, the guitars, Phil just kind of coming in with a little bit of a drum fill there. And then there's like that little moment of silence. And then all of a sudden Angus just kicks you in the teeth with that riff. And then the song goes in. You're like, oh shit, like what is happening here? And then Bon Scott just comes out and you're like, wait a minute, this is not what happened. And then it slows down for the chorus. And then it picks back up. And the documentary that we were referencing, those guys talk about that too. How it's interesting that the song is just blowing your face off, and then all of a sudden they slow down for that chorus where it's just kind of the gang vocals saying walk all over you. And then you get Bon kind of squealing, walk all over you. Now it's funny because walk all over you, is this like, did Gene get inspiration for dance all over your face? Like, is that what's going on here? Because you hinted at something maybe going on there, Sonny. Is walk all over you? Is that dancing all over your face, or just a different version? I don't know.
Dance all over your face. Well, want to dance all over your face.
Pretty much. I mean, what's walk all over you mean? I don't know. But another killer tune.
Yeah, I do enjoy the slower intro and then the fast pickup. It almost like when it first picks up, dan, 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 and I thought it sounded like What I Like About You. It started coming out like, wait a minute, where are they going with this? And I just think it's just one of those songs that it's like, it's a little different than the rest, but it still follows the theme. And it makes sense that it's on this album. It's the backing vocals are pretty cool. But it's not my favorite on this album, but it's a good song. It's a good song. Let's go to the next one.
Touch Too Much. So Axl said several times in interviews this is his favorite AC/DC song, and I can imagine why, because that nasty, dirty riff, the lyrics of the song are amazing, the pace of the song is amazing, the breakdown piece after the solo is awesome. Like there is something that Mutt found, we talked about it a little bit earlier, where it's like, look, I can get you guys on the radio without cutting your balls off. I can make you famous without you having to lose the sawmill look you got going on. Like he figured that out, and I think it has to do with Mutt's a trained singer, and he knew how to It's like, okay, they got the guitar stuff down. Yeah, they're going to have that Chuck Berry flavor. We can live with that. You guys got to fix your vocals to where it's more pleasing to the ear, because some of the stuff you guys do is not, right? And just that one little fix makes this a more hair metal type song than it does heavy metal type song, which is fine because I think the song is wonderful.
Yeah, no, you said it perfectly. Yeah, another simple groove, and I like how the way that the drums and the riff come in and kind of punch the chorus through. You know, it's like touch, da-da, you know, and then it kicks in. And I like how the first verse is a little different than the second verse, where during the first verse the guitar is a little bit simple. He's not really ripping those chords. And then as the second verse comes around, Angus is a little bit more aggressive with the riffs there. So you can kind of see how the song progresses, and then you get that little breakdown where it's like, you know, again, that gang vocal saying, you know, touch too much. It's a killer song. And Sonny, you said it. I like the way you said it. It's almost like a hair metal-y song, which is interesting for this album. And I think that's due to Mutt, and it's also due to Bon and what Angus is doing too with his riffs. Awesome tune. I
remember when I got back into ACDC and hair metal and stuff was kicking out. This song stood out to me on its own, obviously than the other tracks, as being right in that genre. This would have fit in with that. Supposedly it sounds like the Bon Jovi song off of 7800 Fahrenheit. The hardest part is the night. I don't see it.
I don't either.
But they talked about it on the documentary. That's what this sounds like. I'm like, I don't really see it, but regardless, the song is incredible. It's one of these nights when you turn. It's just vocal performances kick ass. The mood this gives you, and there's a simple little thing that I love about this song, and it's one of those earworms, something that I love, and it reminds me of one of my favorite deep cut Kiss songs. There's a part at the chorus ends and there's just the drums. Touch too much, much too much. And they changed the much in the two.
Oh, yeah.
The backing reminds me of Plastic Caster. Grab a hold of me faster, faster. You can hear that on the Kiss song Plaster Caster, where they changed the words one time in the chorus callback. And it's not the same. And you pick up on it when they switch it up, and it makes that part of the song so much sweeter. And they do it much too much instead of touch too. Oh, just fucking, I love that part. Mm-hmm. Song it's just one of those things that perhaps, you know, AC/DC fans know this, but maybe hardcore, the hardcore AC/DC fans know this, but maybe the other AC/DC people that like this wouldn't know this that much. And if they heard this, they'd be like, holy shit, this song fucking kicks ass. And it is a catchy as all hell song. So let's move on. Next.
Beating around the bush. So here it's interesting because the lyrics are sleazy as hell, but the music is almost thrash. So it's like you got kind of the two worlds joining, and this is where in the documentary the hickory nuts show up. And, that's a tough look. Those shorts. So now there was something I noticed in the second verse, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And my son and I were listening to it on the way somewhere yesterday. And I'm like, oh, rewind that. Okay, I got it. So on the second verse, what ends up happening is Angus is doing one note guitar fills in the first part of the verse. But in the second part of the second verse, he's actually doing a harmony with the vocal melody. So he changes it from a one note fill each line to like this harmony thing, which is really just adds so much to the song. And just that start and stop of the music, you guys are calling it kind of letting it breathe during the verses, right? Man, you can't really pull that off unless you have a singer that either has a voice of an angel that can sing literally anything, or has got some voice that's got some attitude to it. Otherwise, that shit falls flat. I tell you, Poison can't do that shit, right? Brett doesn't have that voice, right? So I love that start-stop thing because, man, when it's live, are they tight as hell? And that stuff plays off well live. So good song, really good song.
Yeah, this is not a go-to song for me. I think the way that the rest of the album is with the groove and the blues and stuff, this just doesn't have it for me. I think Bond saves the song for me with the stopping and the starting. It's just a little too frantic of a pace for me. It works. I'm glad the entire album is not like this. It's good, there's stories there that the riff is ripped off directly from a song called "Oh Well" by Fleetwood Mac, and if you listen to it, it is. Whether that was a tribute or whatever you want to call it there, and that's early Fleetwood Mac. But it's again, Bond saves the song and makes it listenable, but it's not a go-to song for me on the album.
I would kind of take Tom's side on this one. Yeah, I mean, it's a good song. It's fun. It's hard to dislike an AC/DC song. It really is.
It is.
Because they're all kind of...
Yeah, wait a few minutes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, yes, it's hard to like an AC/DC song. For me, it's a decent song. It's all right. Its lyrics are just fun and funny. As much as we laugh about Kiss lyrics, AC/DC has a bunch. And they're like juvenile... he just had big balls. Oh my god! Yep. I kind of like it. It's kind of fun and immature and stuff. The song's not bad. Bond does a great job, and as usual, Angus is right on point. It's a decent song. Not much to talk about other than the lyrics kind of stick out as fun for me. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's go to the next one.
Shot Down in Flames, which to me is like Girls Got Rhythm's little brother. It's a similar song to me because, do the riffs really get any simpler? It's got the undeniable groove. There's no doubt about that. But you know what? I was thinking if you wanted to do some sort of name that tune with this band, oh, dude, good fucking luck because there's about 10 songs you can pick out of what songs they are. The other 300 songs they got all sound the same. So name that tune. It's going to be a bitch with this band.
Yeah, but you suck at name that tune. We already know that. So I don't know. I don't know how you're going to do on this.
Yeah. These are the kind of songs that, this whole thing about goes up to a girl in the bar. He thinks he's a hooker. He asks her how much. She tells him, fuck off. Right. But, she's hanging out everywhere. So what's he supposed to think? I've never had the balls to do anything like that. So songs like that connect to me because it's like, man, I wish I could do that. That's really cool that somebody can really pull that off because I absolutely can't. And then at the end, is that a baby cry at the end? Like what? I couldn't get that out. Yeah, that's almost sounds like a baby crying.
That's just Bond doing his little, whatever you want to call it.
Like, but it's like,
it sounded like Pat, Tom. It's Pat from SNL.
I don't know if you noticed, but on this video, because all the videos are very similar, on this video he has a different hat on, because Angus's hat doesn't last long.
No,
but here he has a chin strap on the hat.
That's no fucking helmet.
It keeps him in place. And his thing. You got to see the video.
Reminds me of Hideki Matsui from the New York Yankees. Tom used to say, because I used to say his head is so enormous. The Japanese outfielder for the Yankees, his hat, anytime there's a ball, his hat would come flying off because
he needed a chin strap.
Tom, he needs a chin strap for that melon he's got.
He could never field a ball without his hat flying off.
Yeah, he was a fucking Red Sox killer, Matsui. Good player.
Oh, yeah.
But good song overall.
All right, Shot Down in Flames. So Sonny hinted at Girls Got Rhythm. So everything I said about Girls Got Rhythm, I multiply that times 100. The swagger and the groove that Girls Got Rhythm have, I think, is tenfold on this song. the solo might be, I don't know if it's probably not my favorite, but there are certain things that I love about when guitarists are doing solos, and when Bond just screams out, "That's nice!" Like I love when like the lead singer is like cheering on the guitar player as they're doing the so. It just like it's like, yeah, I'm the singer, but you're on my team. I'm gonna cheer you on as you're kicking ass right now.
Big fan of CC. Pick up that guitar and talk to me. Are you?
Yes, I do like that. Yes, but CC DeVille is horrific. And I'm just that is our monthly poison shit on moment right there.
Yeah, we need to have a theme music of fucking our monthly punch.
Can we get a sponsor? Maybe we can get like some kind of like rat poison company to sponsor us. Your monthly poison pile on. And people like he's just terrible. But let me get back to Shot Down in Flames. And Sonny, you hinted at it. This whole album is ballsy and swaggery and about getting chicks, and he's writing a song being like, "Eh, man, I got shot down in flames. She just said no, and I'm gonna sing about it, and it's friggin' gonna be awesome." I just think that adds to the uniqueness of the song on an album like this. I love it.
Yeah, for me, I feel like this song is just like Sonny said. Yeah, that song's awesome. That fucking beat, that rhythm. Which one is that again? It's just, they're all awesome. Yep. I thought this sounds like Giving the Dog a Bone later on that they do in Back to Black.
Okay.
But this song kicks ass. The fucking groove. And just like you said, Tom, through me listening to this album again, there were times, and I'll get to the rankings afterwards, as we always do, that I'm like, this song is higher than this. This is where I'm starting. And then all of a sudden, this song I like better. Oh, I like it better. Oh, yep. I like it better. It just climbs. And then next thing you know, you're like, fuck, holy shit, this song is incredible. And they just pick up on you because it's just ACDC, and they have that winning formula. The fucking riff masters that they are, and the drums and the guitar and the vocals. And it is funny. Sonny, I'm like you. I'm a single guy at this point. I'm like you. I have done things that I'm not very proud of, but one thing I've yet to really do is to embarrass myself chasing somebody. I'll never, ever, and this isn't even in my lot fitter days, in younger days, like ever gone to the point where I'm like this ballsy, like, "Hey, baby, want to come home with me?" Like, I always used to think that my game was to not have like a game. Yeah, even though everyone knows, like, yeah, that's everyone's game. Like, right, exactly. But back then, when I was in, we're talking 90s, like, I never fucking would be like, "Hey, you know what would look good on you? Me." Like, I could never do that shit. It would always be like, "Oh, yeah, all these guys are hitting on you? Well, I'm not going to." It's just that kind of mentality. God bless him for doing that. And that's what makes Bon Scott, because you can believe him being that, like, "Hey, baby, how much to go home with me? Fuck you, I'm not a prostitute, you asshole," slapping them.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have
you'd be like, hey, baby, you got any Italian in you? You want some?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have a friend like this, and I'm not talking about Tony. Tony's the farthest thing from this, believe it or not.
Uh-oh.
A very, very good friend of mine absolutely believes it's a numbers game. If there is 40 women
I know,
in the bar, he is buying 41 drinks. Like, he is that guy. And he's got it. And he's done woman after woman after woman. I mean, he continues to go home. He doesn't, he's not Robert Redford, right? Like, he just goes, right? And it's like, wow, but I ain't got that kind of. Me and Tone just sit there and go, whatever, dude.
That's time and money, baby. Wow.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, though. I know they say, like, "Oh, yeah, if you hit on 40 women, what are your odds?" And I always say, like, if I could create one invention, and I think they did create it with all the fucking apps nowadays, like, would be an invention of a guy to be able to go back in time in history, to be able to have an app that'd be like, "Yeah, if you hit on this girl, you could fuck her. You could fuck her." And you're like, "No way. I could have fucked her." Yeah. And then you would have it, like, you look in a bar and you'd be like, no, yes. And you'd be like, "Yeah, man, I can fuck her, but I can also fuck her. all right, which one am I going to get to? Oh, you're just about to get to it. Somebody else beat you to it. You're like, okay, I see. This is like the fourth I'll bang. She's not the. Then all of a sudden you look around, they're all gone. You're like, fuck, I better hurry up and get to the fat one. I can bang her. And that's the fucking best app I could ever invent.
I thought the apps were about love.
No,
Yeah, that's what it is.
no. And Zeus,
when you swipe left, yeah, I'd fuck her, 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 I'd fuck her. And then girls are like, he's insensitive, he's a jerk. I don't like his car. Oh, he looks like he wouldn't be nice with my family. Like, and we're like, yeah, I'd bang her, I'd bang her, I'd bang her.
Pretty
You're
much.
not even reading things.
no. Nope.
No, it's not about the anal pleasure.
It's not about no.
All right. So, shot down in flames in our sex advice. Let's get it hot now.
So get it hot. Taking a shot at Manilow. I love it because I am not a huge Manilow fan at all. So I'm very, very happy that this 2.5 minutes included taking a swipe at Manilow.
How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you?
I just think the chorus is really boring here. I get it that, it's got the Chuck Berry feel and it's okay overall, but the chorus just doesn't connect with me. And so the other night I said to Nicole, look, I'm going to bend you like a G-string. And she looked at me and said, you got to stop hanging out with those fuckos. That's basically what she said. So, yeah, not the best song on this album. It's a little boring to me.
Yeah, my big comment here is just weak chorus. There's nothing there. The song is not bad. It's pretty cookie cutter for this album. It's got the boogie groove. It's got a great Cliff Williams bass line. I think that's one of the things that sticks out for me. But when you get to that chorus, with the kind of shuffled drum beat and there's really nothing going on there, I think it's a little bit of a forgettable track. But forgettable tracks on Highway to Hell is still awesome.
Yeah, I would probably say that in the beginning when I started listening to this album. Another one shot right up.
Yep.
I love the riff again, of course. It's a little bit like Jailbreak.
Okay.
Yep. For me, I love Bon Scott saying, get it hot. And then he changes his voice throughout the chorus, though. It changes it a little. Hey. He makes everything work as you believe it when he's singing it. And he's just so likable. Like, for me, it's like he's the ultimate fucking lead singer. Like, guys want to be and hang out with him.
Yep.
Chicks want to bang him. Like, he's fucking cool and funny, and he's got a good sense of humor about this shit. I think this song, it was kind of a sleeper. It grew on me. I enjoyed the chorus of it, and I do like it because I like the way he changes it up a bit. Mm-hmm. And his vocals change a bit. It's a good, again, like Tom, you said, it's maybe a little bit forgettable. There's nothing forgettable about, on this real album, but comparatively speaking, this song is just, it's another fun track. And sometimes I guess it takes just after listening, I've changed my mind. The top three, I don't think we're going to change. But the other songs have changed tremendously up and down the rankings for me.
Yep.
So
that little hi you did, that was like a James Brown lyric. That was cool.
I think he's awesome. I think he's so funny. I get into it. Now, let's go to the next track.
So the boogie comes back, the R&B flavor, that this ACDC breakdown they do, that's very typical later on in life. And this is the ultimate working class blue collar song if you want blood. And I love the way, like, sometimes the titles and the songs come up. So supposedly the story here is Bon is talking to some film crew operator. They're at 78th Day on the Green Festival in Oakland. And they got the spot at 10:30 a.m. So the film crew guy's like, what kind of show should we expect? And Bond said something like, well, you remember when the Christians got fed to the lions? Well, we're the Christians, and if they want blood, they're going to get it. And that's kind of where
Love it.
The title came up. I just think those kinds of made-up characters, and then the singer kind of embodies them, is good recipe for a song like this. This is, when you talk about ACDC songs, and you talk, you go get 100 rock fans and you ask them, name 5 AC/DC songs, this will never come up, because this one's always kind of hidden in the background because they have such classic hits with other songs that this doesn't always come up. And then the whole thing about O positive, so I'm assuming that's his blood type?
Yep.
Is that his blood type?
It must be.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, I didn't need to know, but...
All right. If you want blood, this song is just so fucking good. I'm at a loss for words. It's the first song on this album I'm at a loss for words because it just does so many things. The way the song opens, that riff, and the way it builds and builds and builds, and then all of a sudden Bon Scott just screams at you. It's criminal. Just the tone of his voice and the pace of this song. It's the perfect pace. It's not too fast, but it's not too slow. And that chorus, like you almost get like every time we get ready to do these albums, I when I go running, I kind of play these albums into submission. This is one of those songs where I find myself, and I've said this before in other albums, I find myself running a little faster than I normally would for another song. And then when he says, "I want you to bleed," and then the solo, the song is just balls out AC/DC. And one weird kind of coincidence with this song was, so kind of a quick little segue here. So people that listen to these episodes, I'm like a big horror movie nerd. So the other day I was kind of flipping around, and I love the Final Destination movies. They're so stupid, but they're just known for like ridiculously horrible death scenes and everything. So Final Destination 5 is the last Final Destination movie of them all. Okay. Now, during the credits of Final Destination 5, they do like a montage of all the best deaths throughout all 5 Final Destination movies, and they're playing "If You Want Blood, You Got It." But the clips are put together to like the beat of the song, so it's just wild. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I never realized that. But it's just, the song is just awesome. I just loved it. Oh, so good.
So for me, If You Want Blood, I now the movie soundtrack is in my grunge collection, but there's a scene in Empire Records where he goes into the office, and these guys who you can probably tell never knew AC/DC or liked AC/DC, except for that Italian actor who's an Australian Italian actor who probably knows AC/DC. He's mad. He goes to his office, and he's supposed to like get his fucking, just scream and get all his anger out, puts this song on, and he starts playing the drums of this. And then the other little store clerks just start jamming out, acting. I love how the guy acts like he's not acting like Bon Scott. He's acting like Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
Idiot. Yeah. Fucking idiot. And then the little effeminate, quirky little kid is trying to be like Angus. Like, come on, dude. It's fucking embarrassing. But anyways, I remember this scene specifically with this song. This song is, I don't know if you could ever listen to this in your car without taking the knob and going, "Oh shit," and not turning the knob up.
Yep.
And not fucking just like losing attention and just being like, fuck, oh, fuck.
Yep.
You want to go like 100 miles an hour. It's fucking,
it's a great Beavis and Butthead song.
Were you driving a 1958 Pinto? I got the little volume thingies on the steering wheel there.
Yeah, but come on.
It's expression, asswipe.
This is Zeus. This is the guy that introduces the show by saying, "Don't turn your radio dial."
Yeah, thank you, Tom. See, when push comes to shove, he's got my back. Fuck
exactly.
Right. But there's no way you don't turn the volume up on this. There's no way. The song kicks ass. It's just so iconic.
Yep.
The vocals, criminal. Oh, the screech.
Amazing.
Oh my God. And it
Amazing.
and then the whole line about the Christians and the lion, thrown to the lion. Oh my God.
Yep.
It's just, if you want blood, you've got it. If you want blood, you've got it. The Fan.
And one cool other thing before we move on, the live album of If You Want Blood, you got that album cover. I don't know how that album cover was allowed to be released. Because there's like you think about that, that is about as gory and graphic, and that's a photo. It's not even like a drawing of Angus being impaled with the guitar. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to the mall and flip through the record stores like you, and I'd be like, oh my God, they killed a guy with a guitar. Now granted that was the live album, but just a great song.
Let's not talk about the track listing on that album though, please.
No, we won't.
No, we will not talk about that track.
It's not about the track listing.
It's not about that. No, it's not. Let's go to the next one.
Love Hungry Man. All right. The good and the bad. The good. No,
what?
The bass line feels Motown. There's some paces in the verses, and they change the melody up a bit. That at least is interesting. The rest of this song is super meh to me. I don't like the slower tempo. Malcolm even said it was too pop. Angus said it was the worst song ACDC's ever written. He must have had a bad night or night of bad pizza. You can blame him. And I agree with him. This song is not great. And in an album which has so many classic songs I would listen to the rest of my life, if this thing never existed, it would not matter to me. Because it's not that great of a song.
But
it's still better than Giving Yourself Away. So fuck you, Piercy.
Dude, what is your problem with Stephen Piercy? What's wrong with you?
I think the problem is...
Did he steal your girl back then?
I'm sure he did.
I'm actually rooting for Rat to stand up Sonny on the cruise so he gets stood up again by Rat.
The fucking guy from Grim Reaper could have stolen your girlfriend back then. Relax.
He could. That guy's not stealing girls. It's not about the Grim Reaper.
Yeah. He made
it's not about the crocus.
But it wasn't the girl.
No. Yeah. How can even if you don't like this song, you have to at least love that bass line. That
he said
groove.
It. He said it.
No, I know. No, I know. But because I love how this is another one of those songs. And look, it's not a standout on the album. But again, this is what I like about. We talk about track listing, sequencing. You just get your brains blown out by If You Want Blood, and then they kind of tone it down a little bit with Love Hungry Man. And again, I said it earlier about another song on the album. The first verse, the music and the guitars are very, very subtle, kind of groovy a little bit. And then the second verse, Angus is kind of ripping on the chords a little bit more to kind of give the song a little bit of life. The chorus is whatever. It's not a standout for me. I like it. I like it way more than Sonny likes it. But I think the bass line and that groove kind of sells it. Cliff Williams kind of bangs it out on this one.
Yeah, for me, what stands out is it's different. The vocals on it. He's singing in a different style. It's not fast-paced AC/DC. It's just a different type of song. The last two tracks are kind of similar in that sense. That kind of like bluesier, slower, you know, where where Bon is not using the higher pitch or screech in his voice. He's singing this a little differently. I think of Love Hungry Man. I think of those Swanson meal. Hungry Man dinner.
Oh, dude, I love those. What are you talking about? I think the brownies? I used
the best part
first.
Dude, the best part of the brownie is that the middle would burn the roof of your mouth apart and the edge of it would be cold.
I've never eaten
with the
one
brownies,
of those.
and
you have never had a...
I'm not eating that shit.
You move the corn into the meatloaf gravy, the Salisbury steak. It's awesome.
Oh. Dude, we talked about this on the kissing contest, on that Kiss episode we did, where two men, remember in the kissing contest, the two men, the man and the woman.
The fuck am I missing? What episode was that?
Remember on the kissing contest on the Mike Douglas show.
Yeah.
And they were like kissing for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And we were talking about what kind of food they would have to be like preparing their meals, because you said they couldn't have had like Salisbury steak dinner.
Dude, the best was the pudding. The pudding was like asphalt. That would like burn your skin off. It was like napalm.
Because if you ate that and you were making out with somebody for like 2 days, imagine like, oh honey, I gotta take a shit while we make.
Dude, the best Hungry Man dinner was the fried chicken, because it would get stuck to the
too.
foil.
Yeah.
It would get stuck to the foil.
And then you get to take your fork and unstick it.
Yeah.
And that's the best part.
This is an ordinary man.
Honey, I'm home.
I made dinner.
This is a hungry man.
Baby, I'm home.
How was work today?
A few body slams, the usual. I'm starving. What's for dinner?
I made your favorite. Hungry man.
A whole pound of food men love. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, corn and pudding.
Mind if I join you?
Hungry man from Swanson. It's good to be full.
Get your own sucker!
Oh,
Who
dude,
the fuck is eating this food?
we're getting.
I
You know what?
this food after college. You were with Bridget. When were you like eating Hungry Man food?
Dude, I'll probably say this. It was probably high school years where I obviously still living at home. My parents would go out on a Saturday night for dinner, or they'd go out with friends, and I'd be hanging out, and I'd just be like, dude, it's fucking Hungry Man time.
It's fucking divorced dad alone would eat that shit. That's what the Hungry Man meal is for. Right?
So you're saying Hungry Man, wife beater, cause banquet beer, that's it?
Salisbury steak. You'd be doing some dents on the toilet eating that shit. Oh, that's fucking awful food.
I like how the first thing me and Sonny said was, "Oh no, the brownie."
I can't believe you guys know this food. It's in the frozen section at the supermarket, right? They still have this.
Oh, this was the go-to because they were like 99 cents each when I was in grade school.
Meat, that is.
Yeah. And both of my parents worked, and it was easy to cook.
And they had about 6,000 calories and about 8,000 grams of sodium in them.
And then,
I was going to say, how much salt was in that food?
And it used to be oven only. And then it became microwavable, and it became even better because now you get to it fast.
No. The oven's the best because that foil. No.
Oh my God. How many calories from fat was in that thing?
Dude, the fact that we can connect the dots between Love Hungry Man and then spend 10 minutes on Hungry Man dinners. That
Salisbury.
I'm telling you, the mashed potatoes are out of this world.
Sonny just said the mashed potatoes are out of this world.
Dude, the quality of fucking meat in that food.
That's dumpster food wrapped in foil.
Oh my God. Oh, that's the ones where they sniff at it and they're like, ugh, I'm not eating this shit.
Dude, soup kitchen homeless people I'm not eating that.
Okay, now look, you got to edit all this out because this is every Friday night here. I'm kidding. God.
Sonny takes it out and puts it on a plate with like a little thing of parsley. Hey, Nicole, I cooked for you tonight.
I've got the fucking braised beef fucking.
I got the meat. I got the meat lasagna with the tapioca pudding on the side for dessert.
You're eating this shit. You got like fucking the meat squads going.
This is why people listen.
You're on a date with a chick and you both eat this shit. Oh, you're gonna love the mashed potato.
Potatoes. They're amazing. You should put the corn and the gravy and mix them all up.
Oh my God.
You should not do any of that.
Oh my God.
Oh, you started it, Zeus. You started it.
Oh my God. Because
All
I'm
right.
that's all. All right.
Let's talk about serial killers. Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so Night Prowler, Ode to Richard Ramirez. Now this is interesting for me because I'm 16 at this point. right? So by the time this Richard Ramirez shit is happening, I am a junior in high school. So this is all over MTV, in between Who Made Who and Shook Me All My Long videos. And this whole thing, about killing 16 people and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I buy the whole, the music made me do it. I do believe music has power. I think music creates a mood. I think you got to be accountable for your own actions. You listen to the song, it does kind of drudge along, and it does kind of put you in that weird mood. I don't know if I don't love the mood that it puts me in, and it's too slow. I tried speeding it up 25%. It was still too slow. I don't think I can get past the Richard Ramirez thing. Like, I've never been able to listen to this song without that. Even though he does the Mork and Mindy thing at the end and is trying to make it, hey, this hasn't got nothing to do with nothing. And it's not anybody's fault that Richard Ramirez did all this stuff, but it hit me at 16, right? Think about the first news you really watched and started to understand. It was probably junior, senior year of high school when you start kind of figuring out, like, this is what this means and why it matters. And your parents are like, look, that's why you don't go out when it's dark, or that's why you stay out of Oakland, or whatever it is. And I've just never been able to separate it. So this song is really tough for me.
Wow. That's a good story. And I mean that, like, for real. That's interesting that and you're right. Music and lyrics and songs and the connections can have that kind of meaning. I don't have that kind of connection to this song. I like when ACDC does stuff like this. I'm glad that there's one of these songs and only one of these songs on this album. Like, I like another song this reminds me of is that song Ride On. I like that. It's not a go-to song for me, but I like that they can do this, and they pull it off really well. If you like this kind of stuff that's slow, I mean, this song is painfully slow. It almost sounds like it's too slow, but they do a good job with it. And I think the lyrical content and the way that Bon Scott is telling the story, it all fits together. Now, Sonny has already talked about it. Unfortunately, it has the connection to Richard Ramirez. And unfortunately, Richard Ramirez was nicknamed the Night Stalker, which didn't help that this song is Night Prowler. I think everybody who knows this album and knows this song, unfortunately, you think of Richard Ramirez. Now, it's hard to kind of not connect the dots there a little bit. They say that there was a VH1 behind the music on ACDC. The band said that, it's actually about a boy sneaking into his girl's bed, his girlfriend's bedroom at night. I don't know if that's true if you listen to these lyrics. It seems a little bit more. And if you watch the video for this, the video is alarming. The video is really stalker. It's a disconcerting video, especially for when this came out at this time.
Please stop using big words on this podcast.
I'm sorry. Upsetting? How's upsetting? Can I use the word upsetting? That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Scary, sad, frightening. Yes. But putting all that aside and kind of separating the two, I like the song. Like I said, I'm glad that there's just one of these on the album. I don't mind it.
Yeah, let's not get carried away. The song came out before the fucking serial killer, so anybody who's making it an issue is a fucking idiot. The song actually a fun kind of groovy little bluesy kind of tune, and it is to me. I don't think these guys are kind of the type of band that want to get into like someone getting murdered or something. This isn't fucking Dio writing about the wizard putting a curse on the fair maiden and someone wants to kill them. Like, this is them being like sleazy and someone's going to go and come to your window at night. Back then, people talked like that. Nowadays, you'd be fucking arrested and kicked off and canceled for writing shit like this. But I don't think they had that in mind. And I remember specifically I had a friend that slept over my house one time we were in high school and I lost him out drinking. And then he came to my house like 2 a.m, banging on my window like, hey, I have to come in. I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? And I jokingly called him the Night Prowler. He's knocking on my window at 2 a.m. to come on in. Nice. It's for fun. I think it's a cool kind of like, foreboding kind of, what's coming down, eerie the song. And in typical Bond, lets you know, hey, it's all a fucking joke. Settle down with the Nanu Mork and Mindy shit at the end of the song. It's a good song. It's fun. It's different. But, you know, and unfortunately, people love to jump on things, and they took this as because he had an ACDC shirt on and attached it to ACDC. It had nothing to do with that stuff. And but that's the sensationalism of journalism sometimes. And this was unfortunately sometime around your era, Sonny, and it's too bad, but I don't associate with them. And ACDC is not about that. ACDC is not about the murder. They're about love. It's about the passion.
About the passion. It's about hungry men dinners.
No, it's not about murder.
There's another story that Angus in an interview said one time. It's about when he was a kid, his room would get too hot and he would open his window and his window connected to an alley. And that there would be like weird noises and stuff down the alley, and the song's about that.
Okay. That's good. That's scary.
Dude, what the fuck is wrong with that? When you open the window, some wino is going to come in. That's crazy. But that's the end. That's the last track. And so we end Highway to Hell. Before we start doing what we normally do, which is ranking all the songs. Final thoughts, Sonny?
Simple, sexy, swagger. I love Bonds. He can talk with his eyes in the videos. The devilish grin. The don't take yourself too seriously. 3.5, 4-minute songs that you don't got to be too smart like me to enjoy. Mass appeal, connects to everybody. These songs will live way past us. Many of these songs will live for a life. Hell, my son just heard them for the first time yesterday. He's like, wow, that was some great songs, Dad. And he's 20 years old, and he hadn't really heard these, right? So it's cool for me because my son really enjoys like TSO and some of that complicated crap. And so it's kind of nice to know that he can come back to this kind of more simple stuff. But overall, really good album.
Yeah, you're right. There's a time and a place for, look, we all like different bands, different genres, different styles of rock specifically. And there's a time and a place, depending on your mood, for what you're in, for what you want. Like, look, I'm a huge Rush fan. There are certain times when I'm into that. And there are certain times when I'm like, you know what? I can't deal with a 9-minute song with 14 time signatures. I want something. I want AC/DC and I want Highway to Hell. You know, I like the pummeling Brian Johnson Back in Black, for those about to rock, Ball Breaker, you know, whatever you want to call it, AC/DC. But I like this. We've said the word a million times, swagger. Then that's what it is. That's what Bon Scott brings here. The groove, the riffs, the rhythm. It's a timeless album. It's an album that you're never going to get sick of, and it's an album that you're going to find yourself always coming back to sooner or later. It's a classic for a reason. It's my favorite AC/DC album. I'm glad we did this. I love Back in Black, but I love that album. Everybody does. But this is my favorite AC/DC album, and I love Bon Scott, and this is why.
We're both grunge fans. Sonny is not what you would call a grunge fan. Certain times, I can't put it on. Like, I don't want to get pensive. I don't want to start thinking too much. I just want to put something on. The only time AC/DC in this album can't go on is if I don't want to get too fucking hyped up. Like, if I'm with my parents, I'm not playing this in the background, going around and punch somebody in the back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this song fucking, you could play this at every barbecue, every time you're cooking or doing chores in the house. There's no reason why you can't have it on unless you don't want to get too excited, because the fucking album rocks. That's how good this is. So this album to me is quintessential AC/DC. And again, another one of my favorite inventions. And I hope to think that in a time, if we all believe in the afterlife and Jesus and God and all that other stuff, I'm going to get philosophical on you. I'd always want to think that if I could go to heaven, the one thing I'd always want to do is have the game where I can always be like, can you tell me if this happened? Can you tell me if that happened, if JK didn't get killed? Can you please tell me what would happen with AC/DC if Bon Scott didn't die? I'm curious. I'm like, because I fucking love him. Although AC/DC may not be my top 10 frontman, bands, he's probably a easily my frontman. He's so likable. He's so fucking cool. I love that he doesn't give a shit. I think his voice is great. Is it not? It's not top vocals I've ever heard, but he knows what he's doing. I can listen to him. He's authentic, and he's a true rock badass that you could fucking love. And the whole band is like that. They're not unlikable characters unless you call setting up a hitman to kill your fucking ex-wife or whatever the fuck he did back there, Phil Rudd. But like, they're all likable. Angus Young is a likable person. Malcolm Young, like the whole band. Brian Johnson is a likable person. How can you have anything but not positive things about AC/DC? I love this album. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I love Bon Scott. And for me, I love that we got to do his AC/DC first, then Brian Johnson's. So that's all I wanted to add.
And one last thing, we didn't even bring this, but just kind of before we get into the rankings, we didn't even mention, the fact that, it'll be 4 years ago this year where Malcolm Young passed away. He passed away in 2017, and what a loss. I mean, we talk about it during this episode. Everybody talks about Angus and his riffs, but if you're talking about underrated rhythm guitar players, you have to be talking about Malcolm Young. So rest in peace to him.
Tom, the thing I would tell you is I love him. When we did one of our first drafts ever on our live cast, and we were drafting an imaginary fake all-star band, I picked him.
I remember
as a rhythm guitar player, because I think of you just go rhythm guitar player. Who else can you get that can give you a better crunch? A songwriter and a lyricist. And backing vocals and won't give you shit. Right? I know, and just reliable and a good guy from all I've heard. So I think God bless him too.
Yeah, it's crazy because Angus, I think it's normal to give Angus the credit for the riffs. We don't have any idea they're Angus's riffs.
Correct.
We don't know that for sure. It could easily be Malcolm.
So,
well, neither one of those guys are going to tell you. Well, Malcolm can't tell you, and he wouldn't have anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I think they're a team, though. I think they worked well off of each other, and that God bless them both. Again, nobody says anything bad about AC/DC, and that's for a reason. Those guys kick ass. So, rankings, 10 songs. We're going to start 10 to the number 1. Who wants to go first this time?
Ooh, this is going to be tough. I'll go first this time, I guess.
Sonny, you want to go next or you want to go last?
I'll go next.
Okay, I'll go last.
All right. This is a tough one for me.
You want to preface it?
It's especially the top of my list. So I'll just go right here. So the bottom of my list was easy. This is one of those albums where the bottom was a little easier. Once you climb to the top, kind of like a dart throw. But number 10 for me is Beating Around the Bush. Sonny.
Yeah, for me, it's this whole album. There's 2 meh songs. There's one good one. There's one that would be my number 1 no matter what. And numbers 2 through 7 could change on the day, to be honest. Okay. So my number 10 is Love Hungry Man. That's just not. It's not. It's not good.
Okay.
For me, I'm like you, Tom. My number 10 is probably going to be somewhere in the middle of our top songs. That's why I want to preface this. So even though it's 10, I still like it. It's not a bad song. And that's Beating Around the Bush.
Okay.
Wow.
So my number 9, and we've talked about it. I think it's the weak chorus that kind of drops it down. Still a good song. And number 9 is Get It Hot.
My number 9, I can't get past it. It's going to be Night Prowler. I don't ever go to it.
Fair enough.
Number 9 for me, Walk All Over You.
Ooh, wow. Okay. Wow. Number 8 for me. I like the song, but it's just too slow to be any higher than this. And number 8 for me is Night Prowler.
Number 8 for me is going to be Get It Hot. A little boring for me.
Number 8 for me, Love Hungry Man.
That is my number 7, Love Hungry Man.
My number 7, Shot Down in Flames. So here's where it gets tough, right? Because my number 2 through 7 could change at any time.
Okay.
It's there. The seven I have left are outstanding songs.
Yep.
So I will tell you this, my top 3 or my top 3, I wasn't changing that. Right? I didn't even have to listen. But 4 through 7, every one of these songs changed. This was number 4 for me. And now it's number 7 before we're done with this. And all these songs are awesome, I think. Girls Got Rhythm.
All right, my number 6, Walk All Over You.
My number 6 was Beating Around the Bush. I guess I like it better than you guys do.
Wow, okay.
Number 6 for me, Night Prowler.
This top 5 for me, I mean, specifically the top 3, but number 5 for me is Touch Too Much.
Wow. Number 5 for me was Walk All Over You.
Get It Hot, number 5 for me.
Wow. Number 4, this when we just, it's funny when we decided to do this album, my number 4, this was like, oh, this is gonna be number 1, probably number 2, but it's number 4, and that's Girls Got Rhythm.
My number 4 is If You Want Blood. That's how good this album is.
Sonny comes in with a haymaker as usual.
Fucking can't drop. We can't do it without dropping something that like what? Number 4, Shot. We're in 4, right? Shot Down in Flames. Such a fun fucking song. And Bond pulls it off.
Number 3, this is where I might start taking gunshots from you guys and maybe the listeners. I'm sorry. Number 3, Highway to Hell.
Wow. All right, my number 3 is Touch Too Much.
Touch Too Much for me. Number 3.
I'm going to tell you right now, during this recording, I flipped my 1 and 2. I've done this before during episodes. It's literally 50-50 coin flip for me, but something needs to be 1, something needs to be 2. And right now, Shot Down in Flames is number 2 for me.
Number 2 for me is Girls Got Rhythm. That song is way too good.
Great song.
Number 2, If You Want Blood.
And that is my number 1, If You Want Blood. It's just got everything I want in Bond and everything I want in this album. It's just balls out awesome.
And then if my tracking mechanism is correct, both Zeus and I have the same number 1 in Highway to Hell.
I forgot to mention.
I feel un-American for not having that as my number 1, but
you should.
I know.
Highway to Hell also is a soft spot for me because it's the ending part in the credits for a forgotten Adam Sandler classic movie, Little Nicky.
Oh, thank God I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's not that great of a movie.
I think that movie's hilarious.
Thank
and it's
God
awesome
I have never seen that.
Big rock guys, and they end with Highway to Hell. And they stop them, and they're rocking out to the song.
Another thing, Zeus, too, that we haven't mentioned, Highway to Hell, that's big-time high school bus ride, football, hockey.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
If You Want Blood is too. Those 2 songs were on our school bus ride going to the garden and going to a hockey game.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Coming out to music, Highway to Hell, along with Shook Me All Night Long, which still plays in places, and Back in Black and stuff.
Yeah, that's a song I don't need to hear again. You Shook Me All Night Long, but that's okay.
So total tied for 4th was Girls Got Rhythm and Shot Down in Flames. 3rd was Touch Too Much. 2nd was If You Want Blood. And number 1 was Highway to Hell.
I will tell you this, Sonny. This is the first time, and I know you guys have probably done this once. This is the first time my ranking went out. Number 1, Highway to Hell. Number 2, If You Want Blood. Number 3, Touch Too Much. I've never had that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But how can I go wrong? It's this fucking album.
Exactly. Yeah, true. Okay.
All right.
Here comes a scary part now.
All right. So These are the albums we have reviewed so far, and they are 17 albums. Okay? We reviewed Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, Whitesnake Slide It In, Van Halen's OU812, Soundgarden Super Unknown, Def Leppard Pyromania, Metallica Load, Iron Maiden Peace of Mind, Bon Jovi Debut, Bon Jovi, Ozzy Osbourne Blizzard of Oz, Alice in Chains Jar of Flies, Winger Debut, Winger, the Singles Soundtrack, Tesla Mechanical Resonance, Yngwie Malmsteen Odyssey, Hailstorm Debut, Hailstorm, Rat Detonator, and now ACDC, Highway to Hell. So the first thing we always do is album cover rankings. Tom, do you have your list in front of you? Or do you
I do. No, I do. So I have number 1, I have Blizzard of Oz. Number 2, Peace of Mind. Number 3, Appetite for Destruction. Number 4, Pyromania. 5, Mechanical Resonance. 6, Slide It In. 7, Hailstorm. 8, Odyssey. 9, Jar of Flies. 10, Super Unknown. 11, Singles. 12, Bon Jovi. 13, Winger. 14, Load. 15, OU812. 16, Detonator. I am putting this cover right behind Blizzard of Oz, number 2.
Wow.
Yep. It's just the iconic nature of it, and I can't remember not. I feel like this album has been like a piece of me my entire life. It's just the iconic imagery, the logo, the horns, the tail. Just it's too much. It's touched too much.
All right. So my rankings initially are Peace of Mind, Slide It In, Blizzard, Pyromania, Appetite, Mechanical Resonance, Hailstorm, Bon Jovi, Detonator, Singles, Winger, Super Unknown, Jar of Flies, Odyssey, OU812, and Load. This album is going to go right behind Appetite and before Mechanical at number 6.
Nice.
Okay. Number 6 for Sonny. All right. Booger. For me, I have at number 1, Blizzard of Oz. Number 2, Appetite for Destruction. 3, Peace of Mind. 4, Slide It In. 5, Pyromania. 6, Jar of Flies. 7, Mechanical Resonance. 8, Super Unknown. 9, Single Soundtrack. 10, OU812. 11, Bon Jovi. 12, Hailstorm. 13, Odyssey. 14, Winger. 15, Detonator. 16, Load. I am putting Highway to Hell in between Slide It In and Pyromania. It's going in at number 5.
Nice.
It's iconic. It's better than Pyromania, even though the image is better. They're both iconic. Mm-hmm. But I still think Slide It In with, what do we call it, Sonny?
Snakes and Titties.
Is a better album cover, even though one's more iconic than the other. So, yeah, that means Highway to Hell pushed a lot of people, a lot of album covers down. So let's go to the album itself, the rankings. Tom, do you have your rankings?
I do. Oh, boy, this is rough.
Do you want to read them?
Yes. All right. So far, I got number 1, Mechanical Resonance. 2, Singles. 3, Pyromania. 4, Jar of Flies. 5, Appetite for Destruction. 6, Odyssey. 7, Hailstorm. 8, Blizzard of Oz. 9, Super Unknown. 10, Load. 11, Slide It In. 12, Winger. 13, Detonator. 14, OU812. 15, Bon Jovi. 16, Peace of Mind. Oh, boy, this is really difficult. Highway to Hell. See, if you ask me this tomorrow, I say this every time we do these. If you ask me this tomorrow, it could be totally different. But for right now, I am putting Highway to Hell behind Pyromania at number 4.
Okay.
Ahead of Jar of Flies and behind Pyromania, which I can't believe I'm dropping Appetite for Destruction again. But this is just getting impossible. It's just getting more and more difficult, especially with these group picks with these iconic albums. So,
Sonny.
All right, so my rankings so far are Hailstorm, Slide It In, Appetite, Mechanical Resonance, Pyromania, Winger, Peace of Mind, Bon Jovi, OU812, Blizzard of Oz, Odyssey, Single Soundtrack, Detonator, Super Unknown, Jar of Flies, and Load. There is 16 albums. I am putting this dead center at number 9. So
fair enough.
Right in between OU 812 and Bon Jovi's self-titled. And really there's some great songs on this thing. I just don't go to ACDC often because when it comes down to it, I'm not a huge ACDC fan, but ACDC isn't something I turn off. It's not one of my top 10. It could make it top 50. There's no doubt. I can name 40 ACDC songs without even trying, right? So I'm enough of a fan to understand it, and I do love the Bon Scott years better. But some of these albums, you're talking about some of my favorite albums of all time here.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at these rankings here. I mean, I have Super Unknown ranked 10th. Like I love that album. I have Slide It In ranked 12th. I have Appetite for Destruction ranked 6th. That is insane. That is one of my all-time favorite albums. But it's just getting more difficult.
Yeah. All right. So for me, my number 1, Blizzard of Oz. 2, Pyromania. 3, Appetite. 4, Mechanical Resonance. 5, Singles. 6, Jar of Flies. 7, Bon Jovi debut. 8, Super Unknown. 9, Slide It In. 10, Detonator. 11, Peace of Mind. 12, Load. 13, Hailstorm. 14, Odyssey. 15, OU 812. And rounding up the rear is Winger at number 16. Where am I putting Highway to Hell? I'm putting this at number 4.
Ooh, just like me.
Yep. Blizzard of Oz, Pyromania, Appetite, Highway to Hell, then Mechanical Resonance.
Nice.
Yeah. So nice. It's overall, it's highly ranked, comparatively speaking. Yep. And it's a great album. The good thing is, we will keep these album reviews coming. Tom is up next. I am dying to hear this. Best part of these episodes are the episodes that when it ends, that I hear what the next album review is going to be when we come up with it. Yep. So I'm anxious to hear what Tom has coming down the line. But before we move on, we usually go to this. What makes you rock hard?
Other than Hungry Man dinners.
I was also thinking, what you should do for your pick is, Zeus, I will pick the 186 CD behind you.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
No, too risky.
Which section? The Elvis section? The alternative rock section? The country section? Or the hair metal section? The Zeppelin section? The Kiss section?
Too risky.
All right, so rock hard segment here. We recently on Grown Up Rock interviewed a band called the LA Maybe, and they have an album out there called Dirty Damn Tricks. And, since we knew we were doing an ACDC type episode, these guys have an ACDC flavor called the LA Maybe. A band from the Carolinas. If you're a fan of like Guns N' Roses, ACDC, Van Halen, these guys are kind of that perfect mix. Dallas on guitar, Daryl on guitar, Josh on keys, Rashawn on bass, Ryan on drums, and a guy named Alvy Robinson on vocals, who has an interesting story because he was one of the 4 singers that auditioned to replace Brian Johnson in AC/DC in 2016.
Oh, wow.
So he's got the voice. This isn't your local bar band doing fucking Back in Black and barely can do it and then can't do another song. This isn't one of those, right? This is a guy who's got the voice and has Axl in his voice. So he's got a little bit of Axl and a little bit of Brian Johnson. So it's very, very interesting. Album's called Dirty Damn Tricks. If you want to give it a shot, there's 4 songs I would tell you to give a shot to. Sucker Punch, which could be a bonus track right off of Appetite. Mr. Danger, which is like an AC/DC song with a pop chorus. She's Reckless, which has got kind of an 80s Bon Jovi flavor. And a song called Oh Sugar, which has got part AC/DC and part Def Leppard. These guys have grown up and have the hooks, the fat, meaty type melodic hooks that we love of the bands that we talk about. LA Maybe, Dirty Damn Tricks.
Yeah, and you shared with us the Oh Sugar clip, which I was very surprised. I liked it. Very, very. I like new bands that they have they pave their own way. They have their own sound, but they still kind of, hold on to that classic era of stuff, which it was a cool sound for sure. I like it. So maybe check out the rest of it. All right. So for me, I am a huge fan of documentaries, true crime documentaries. If they're well made, if they're informative, and if they're not very sensationalistic. I watched what is probably the best one I've seen in recent memory. And one of the reasons why it's great is because it's right here in our backyard of me and Zeus. And it's a 4-part documentary series on Netflix called This Is a Robbery, the World's Greatest Art Heist. And it's about the art heist from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston that happened in 1990. This documentary is unbelievable. I didn't know what I was going to get into. I wanted to watch it because if you are from this area, you say Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum and people are like, oh, no shit, I know. They still don't know who did it. Can you believe that? Like, they still don't know who did it. You watch this documentary. I have never seen so much meticulous research put into a documentary where by the time it's over, they've practically solved it, but it's still unsolved because they can't really nail down who did it. I can't recommend it enough. And it was really cool too. I've read a ton of mob books. That I love nonfiction. I run a ton of mob books, and they actually mention in this documentary my hometown of Medford, Mass, because way back then there was actually a mafia initiation ceremony that was done in the heights of Medford where I grew up. But that's okay. A lot of Italian people there. Zeus knows that. But I can't recommend enough. It's called This Is a Robbery, World's Greatest Art Heist on Netflix. Absolutely mesmerizing.
It's on my queue. Oh. Yeah, as soon as I saw it coming up, I'm like, all right, I definitely will watch this. Oh. I know all about it. Remember when it happened. And so I'm dying to see it, Tom. So good call.
It's amazing. Yep.
So for me, I've done this before. I talked about Law and Order, the TV show, which is, iconic. Everybody knows Law and Order. You're home, you're tired, whatever. You flick on, Law and Order is going to start. You'll watch an episode and you love it. And you could be Law and Order, the original, Law and Order SVU. You could even like Criminal. You can like them all. For me, I was always an original. I liked Law and Order. I liked Sam Watterson. I loved McCoy, the DA, because there's more. And he always had the smoking hot ADAs, which there's no way at some point the hiring practices, someone would be like, dude, what's going on there with this guy McCoy? Where's he getting these women? Like, this is ridiculous. Someone's going to fucking file a complaint on him. But it's always great. And I love the cops. I loved Lenny Briscoe. He was just so funny. And like, it was just a great show. And I love SVU. I love Chris Merloni. I love that if you watch the first actual series on HBO, do you know what that was?
Go ahead.
Oz. And all these characters from either Law and Order or Homicide, all those actors are always all the criminals in this stuff. Anyways, Christopher Maloney was just incredible on Oz as well.
I like him.
He was like the most graphic male, like make-out sections, cocks out, asses out. It's not for the faint of heart. Like everybody between like him, Luke Perry, dicks out, everything, ass. Like they showed everything. Like I think it was just out there. But the series is so incredible. But anyways, he came back. So obviously his character left Law and Order about 10 years ago. And now he's back after, I'm not going to give it away, but something happened in his family. So he's now back and he has their own show and it's Law and Order called Organized Crime. Nice. Dylan McDermott plays like the mob guy that he's kind of going after. And it's a little different because it's not the serial kind of like where you just turn on Law and Order episode. You don't need to know what happened in the background. Maybe they might have a little subplot about someone's family story in the background a little bit, but you don't need to watch it to watch an episode. This one is a little different because you're following really the actor is really dominating. and he's back, and he came back from Italy. He was like liaison there with the New York Police Department. Someone attacked his family, and now he's out to solve it, and they put him on a criminal unit for organized crime. Now, I am a big mafia guru buff. I know everything about it. I follow that shit all the way down the line. I can name the families. I can name who was the boss. I love all that shit. So I'm like excited to see where this show goes. You know, Dylan McDermott plays the criminal in this one. And of course, his father's in the first couple episodes. And his father is played by good old jowl actor from A Bronx Tale. You know him.
Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah, he plays, the guy from Bronx Tale. He plays the
Love
mobster. And they have, for some reason, they have the actor, the mobster's name Sinatra. Like, come on.
What?
Dude. What? Yeah, exactly. Like, you're going to name the mobster guy, his last name Sinatra? That's a little too much. But anyway,
come on.
Merlone just steals every episode, every scene that he's in. It's just so much fun. And then you see Olivia Benson, his old partner there, Mariska Hargitay, come in, and there's obviously tension because they haven't seen each other in 10 years. And you're waiting for each episode. Where are they going to talk about it? And then Ice-T kind of makes an appearance in the first one. And it's Ice-T because you think he's awesome.
Ice-T.
And the episode is building. It's building. And so I just watched episode, I think it's number 3, and it's great. And you got a lot of the recurring his family members making appearances on the show and stuff. And I've been really getting into it. And I love Law and Order. I think Dick Wolf does an incredible job, and he makes appealing television. And it's not very much that you can say these days is appealing television. And he does a great job. And Christopher Meloni does an awesome job. Law and Order, organized crime. That's what I recommend.
Very cool. Cool.
So before we wrap this up, Sonny, where can we find you, buddy?
I'm everywhere. GrowingUpRock.com is probably the easiest place, but just hit me on Twitter. Probably is the easiest way.
Nice. And you can find us, Shout It Out Loudcast. We are, if you're listening to this episode for the first time, we are primarily an all Kiss podcast, new episodes dropping on Saturdays. We do these monthly album review crew episodes with Sonny, where we review, obviously, non-Kiss albums that we love. And our email is shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And you can find us on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a great Facebook group page, Shout It Out Loudcasters, for all you Kiss fans. That's a great place to find us. And we are part of the awesome Pantheon podcast network of shows, tons of great shows, including ours. Check us out, reach out to us. Tell us what you think of ACDC Highway to Hell. Tell us what you think of ACDC in general. Tell us what you think of our rankings. Reach out to us, send us an email. We read them all, and most of them we read on the air as well.
Yeah, I like to echo those sentiments, Tom. People can always DM us on our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Twitter accounts. We're very active on social media. Please email us. We like the emails specifically for these episodes. Email us at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We always like to thank Ed at Click T Shop, where you can get all your Shout It Out Loudcast gear. He has a great ARC type shirt that he's been putting out there for us. If you're interested in that, take a look at that. And don't forget our Patreon account, Patreon. That's out there. If you want to help or contribute, you can always find the app Patreon or the actual website, patreon.com, or in the episode notes. And finally, if you like the show and we appreciate all your feedback, you give us one of those 5-star child reviews on iTunes. That's always greatly appreciated. It helps get us out there to the masses and keep building up the program. So we greatly appreciate that. And finally, I like to always end these episodes with famous last words. So those are lyrics from the album. Sonny, you're up first, buddy.
She had the face of an angel, smiling with sin. A body of Venus with arms, dealing with danger, stroking my skin. Let the thunder and lightning start.
Do those lyrics work with Nicole or no?
I'm going to go try right now.
Thunder. She's going to be like thunder and lightning. It's sunny out now. It's there's no storms coming. What are you talking?
That was
what are you
fun.
talking about?
Sunny.
So yeah, there's no sunny. That's right. Good. Well done. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go dark on you bitches.
Okay.
Yeah, don't try these lyrics with Nicole, Sonny. Okay. As you lie there naked, like a body in a tomb, suspended animation as I slip into your room. I'm your night prowler. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. There's so many great lyrics, or really terrible lyrics I could pick from that, but I didn't want to frighten Sonny anymore. He's already up. He's already upset.
Sensitive individual.
He is. He's already upset.
So for me, I think the quintessential lyrics of this album, the Bon Scott era and Bon Scott himself. Here we go. Hey, Satan, pay my dues. Playing in a rocking band. Hey, mama, look at me. I'm on the way to the promised land. Oh,
gotta love it.
God
Perfect.
Bless Malcolm Young. God bless Bon Scott. Tom, thank you. Sonny, thank you. Loudcasters, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. Love me some ACDC Highway to Hell, baby.
Sonny, thank you. Guys, listeners out there, thank you. Zeus, as always, thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed this because we sure did too. See you next time.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Wait!